can see it beat, intoxicating your energy. First time in so long you felt the heat. know the sadness that cripples you. It comes in waves and out of the blue. But there are days you feel freedom too. Bask in the glorious lightning. Move like the sunlight. Darkness can't hold you here. Bold and bright, push through the atmosphere. This is your dawn, this is your break. Move like the, move like the, move like the sunlight. Darkness can't hold you here. Bold and bright, push through the atmosphere. This is your dawn, this is your break. Move like the, move like the. Move like the, move like the. Move like the, move like the. Radiate, radiate, radiate. Gravitate, gravitate, gravitate. Innovate, innovate, innovate. Move like the sunlight.
You and me, hanging from the willow tree, quietly drifting in the open breeze. Suddenly, the wind blows you away from me. Now I see we were never meant to be. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dancing till the dawn. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dancing till the dawn. Born from the same branch and leaves, wild and free, living here in harmony. Don't you see? This is where you want to be. But when you leave, the world is never what it seems. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason
to the AlitaArmy channel. This is Radio KAOS, the voice of the AlitaArmy, episode 53, the second Alita anniversary, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I'm your host for this episode, Max Tech, and with me are, well, actually he's not here yet, Muskogee Creek, who's driving between Colorado and North Carolina, so he might be with us a little bit later. We got Angelus, who's in Brisbane, Australia. G'day, Angelus, how you doing?
G'day.
We've got Odd John, who's planning to be here weather permitting, but he got here, yes. He's in Arkansas.
Hello.
And Star of Elion is there pushing the buttons in the background. G'day, Star. He doesn't always say g'day. He's double muted, so yeah.
It just shows how hard he works.
And guesting with us today, we've got Enigma Seeker back from Texas. G'day, Enigma.
How's it going, guys?
Cran Jam will be here later. She's been slightly delayed, maybe weather. I don't know. You guys are having all that fun weather at the moment, but she's in North Carolina. And we've got two new guests today for the Alita anniversary. We've got Johnny from Maryland. G'day, Johnny.
Yo.
And we've got Nick Osborne, Comic Watch Chief Editor from Texas. G'day, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, no worries. Happy to have you. So we have not one but two new guests today, which is pretty exciting. So first of all, I'll get Johnny to give us a little bit of a rundown on how he got involved with Alita Battle Angel in the first place and how he got involved with the fandom. Johnny, you want to give us a rundown?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I first discovered Alita, I would say, in college, maybe 1997, 1998. And I went to, the local comic book store or anime store, whatever you call it. And I saw the VHS on the shelf. I liked the artwork. I picked it up, went home, watched it, and I was just, blown away. I loved it immediately.
I'm nodding along here. I did the same.
And then I went back to the store and I said, I want more. I mean, where's the second part? And, the guy had to explain to me. I was so disappointed when he said, well, the OVA is all they have right now. That's the only OVA they have. So, I mean, I just became obsessed. After that point, I went from comic book store to comic book store, just picking up the manga. And, I just, and I did that for about 2 years. I still have the individual, I guess comics. I don't know how you would say it exactly, but I would lend out the VHS to whoever would take it, Mm-hmm. So, and a few years later, I don't know if you guys remember this website. I think they're kind of defunct now, but Ain't It Cool News? Are you guys familiar with that?
No.
Yeah,
I think it's heard of them. I've been gone so long that most people wouldn't remember.
It's an old news site. It used to be really popular. It had Harry Knowles. That guy used to be, I guess, someone who was a movie commenter. But I think the news first came out in 2005 that James Cameron was working on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting 7 years for this. This has to happen. And of course, it didn't happen in 2005. It didn't happen in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I kind of just gave up after that. And strangely enough, I think in 2017 or 2018, I saw the trailer and I couldn't believe it because I'd been waiting 20 years for it. And man, it seems like we Alita fans just have to keep on waiting, because when that trailer came out, the movie was supposed to come out, I think within that year, and it got delayed another year. So, and when I finally did see it, I think it was everything I hoped for. And I saw it 12 times in the theater total. I would bring someone different. I brought my whole family to see it a few times.
Nice.
So that's my story. I think you all have similar stories too. Mm-hmm. So
It must be a John thing because he did that too. Dragging his family along and his boss and
Yep. Yep.
so Nick, what's your story? How have you been? And I think you're outed now, man. You kind of suggested on Twitter that you might be a member of the AlitaArmy. I think you're outed, dude.
Yeah, I think we've come around to that point where I'm totally in. Like, and I have a different story, I guess, than both Johns here. I really wasn't exposed to the manga or even the OVA. The first I really saw of it was the news about the Western adaptation film coming, and we get a little bit of news here and there, and I really wasn't exposed to it until the first trailer. And my first thoughts were those eyes. Alita has insane eyes. It looks like they're adapting the anime eye for a Western
Watch
audience.
my videos. I have an explanation.
I think that was the thing that made me at least want to know more about it. And movie hits. I think I saw it. Was able to go back to my Fandango account and hit the March 24th date is by the time I got to see it in theaters, and blew me away. Go back, and one of my favorite things to do, and it'll come up a lot probably in the discussion, is like these adaptions that happen in movie and film, or movies and TV, and then being able to go back and catch up on all the comics and manga and anime. Just so fun to do, and Alita was just one of the best stories that I've been able to dive into, and was so happy to see that there was so much manga. So it didn't take long for me to kind of consume all of that, and being a fan is what I love most, and that's kind of what I do at Comic Watch as the editor-in-chief. I promote fandom and things that people love, and we have critiques and we have things that maybe people weren't feeling it or anything like that, but what we like to do is celebrate things that we love, and that's kind of what brought me to the AlitaArmy. Is I was kind of exposed to it because I'd follow some Facebook pages because I was super into the product or the IP, and it's hard not to be exposed to the AlitaArmy if you're online at all. I mean, everywhere. And everything that I saw was just positive. It was always about, how much we love Alita, how much we love the story, how much we love quality storytelling. And I really love that. Unlike a lot of fandoms that I've been in, that's just kind of based in a lot of negativity and kind of just complaining all the time. That is not what you get out of the AlitaArmy. And before long, I just kind of reached out. I think I messaged the official account and a couple other Twitter accounts that were just, part of the AlitaArmy that were active a lot, and eventually got around to getting in contact with MaxTag and setting up some type of interview to explore what the AlitaArmy is actually all about. And now I can't get enough. So I'm a part of it, doing everything I can to help promote the story, like such great storytelling, and, wanting a sequel for the movie. And here I am today.
One of us. Yeah, I got to say that I have never been so involved in a fandom as I have been with the AlitaArmy, and basically because of all the reasons you said. There's so much negativity out there on the internet. It seems like the internet runs on porn and
Whatever it does sometimes.
the whole I'm going to be offended by absolutely everything, and the AlitaArmy is strong, but it's not that massive. I mean, the Snyder cut out numbers is quite significantly, obviously because like DC is huge, and there's quite a number of characters involved in those movies, so that's quite a number of fans. The fans of Batman, the fans of Superman, the fans of... So there's a large number of people who want the Snyder Cut, whereas Alita is one character from a niche manga, which is Cyberpunk, which a lot of people sort of forgot about after the 90s. So we, per capita, make a whole lot more noise than they do, and we had to, distinguish ourselves. And what distinguishes a group more on the internet than not being like the rest of the internet? So... I mean, it wasn't a conscious decision. It just came out that way because I think the messages in the movie, and less so in the manga, but it's explored in a different way in the manga, and I won't go into that because it's a whole nother stream in itself. But it's it's the messages that attract the people that are like that. You know, the messages call to good people, and the good people come in and we welcome them and everything's cool. So that's why the AlitaArmy is so positive, because positive people are attracted to the message. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more, really. That's all I've been exposed to since engaging with the AlitaArmy more and, working on these articles with Comic Watch and bringing that audience into the fold. It's really outstanding to see just how there's an emphasis on positivity and just showing love for the franchise in general. And I know there's a heavy focus on the film. There's so much in the manga that you can dive into that kind of helps bring the franchise to life a little more, and just a lot to talk about. And I'm excited to be here and kind of engaging with it on a more in-depth level.
Well, that's great. Yeah, we're happy to have you on board. We appreciate anybody who's part of getting information out to more people who wants to come on board and be part of it, and that's great that you've found enough interest in the movement and the subject matter that you're in there to do that. So thank you so much for that, and please enjoy your stay.
Absolutely, can't wait.
Excellent. So I think we've covered all the new folk. Enigma, you want to tell us what you've been up to recently? I haven't spoken to you for a little while.
Well, I just got a video out. It's 41 minutes long, so I probably won't be making it since it's for the anniversary, but it's in response to Charesa's video. I can never say his name right, but why he thinks that Alita doesn't need a sequel, and I try to respond and explain why it does need a sequel and his concerns with the whole issues with Disney and my arguments on why maybe it's going to stay at Disney. So you guys can check that out. I don't make too many Alita videos now, and I just came on to AlitaArmy because there's kind of an injustice for a movie that's so high quality when it comes to its graphics and its story, and it just didn't get the money. So I wanted to help promote that. And since I'm in Texas, where the movie was made, I just kind of had an attachment with that too. And I've been down to Austin and actually went to help with the re-release. Actually met one of the AlitaArmy members. Name was Hunter Warrior. We went down, saw the movie. He actually flew all the way down to Austin from North Dakota, I think it was. And so that was an interesting experience. And we tried to go to Joe Rogan and his house. Neighbors weren't very happy about that. They did take the letter, but we never got any response back. And then now I'm kind of want to push a new campaign, depending on what you guys think. And I announced it on my video. It's hashtag launch Alita. And I think this could connect with the SpaceX Inspiration 4 mission if we can get in contact with the right people and just put a request in. Be very nice to him. We don't want to maybe do a hashtag, but don't spam, but actually send I think it's just a small number of us could get in contact with this guy, then he might consider it. But he doesn't know. He has to contact SpaceX to find out if it's even technically possible. But you guys can check that video out. I go a little more in detail about that. But a lot of us I know, like ST has been pushing, trying to get Elon's attention because Elon did post one retweet and show some interest. So it would be nice if we could kind of connect Alita with SpaceX somehow and really promote her that way. But you never know, but it's something that we should try to find ideas of pushing Alita's name out there. And if we can use SpaceX, if we can use some other, like Open Bionics, charities, because Inspiration 4 is doing a charity for St. Jude's, and I thought that was a good opportunity. If we could make a deal with Inspiration 4 on that charity, we would help really promote that, set up our own separate GoFundMe, and then we'll see an idea to push out there and reviewing. I was reviewing the general story and the concerns about it being PG-13 versus R and maybe what is better.
It's a very thorough video.
It took me a while to make it, but
oh, I can tell.
I apologize. You released it. I was asleep, so I haven't had a chance to review it yet, but I will.
I'm going to post it tomorrow on Twitter for the hashtag Alita Anniversary, so I hope you all join in that hashtag.
It's funny, too. Oh, my God, it's funny.
I try.
You've been taking a leaf out of Den's book, have you?
Well,
it's funny you say that.
I took one little clip in there from Den just so get his attention, but I don't know if he'll see it or not. Yeah, right there. Hashtag where's Den. We'll see, but it was nice to get him back.
Yes, we need to pry that boy out of IRL and get him back here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to kind of take a break, though. You know, you don't want to get too obsessed. It's like, but when there's a opportunity, you know, like if inspiration for, if there really is a chance, I think we should seize upon that. Or if you guys have another idea, because like if you're in, you know, if you're in Florida and you're right next to Disney, you know, an hour away, maybe you could do something. Oh, don't mind the dick cannon that's showing. But, okay. But you know, if people have connections within certain localities in the U.S., it can make a big difference. Like me going to Cinemark and meeting with the PR lady there, and saying, "Hey, can you do a re-release?" And here's a letter, and that got their attention. And then we did a hashtag. So, and I really recommend we do that with Rigo. If Rigo decides to open up, starting out with re-releases again, because they might start opening in the next few months.
Yeah, well, the whole cinema thing was bumming people out just recently because they announced a re-release on screen of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then the next day that got canned as well because they closed down cinemas. So
was that in Australia or US?
No, that's it's in Maine. Actually,
Oh.
Wild Cranberry has joined us. I hope that things are going okay there with you, Cran. You were trying to get to the Rings cinema, and they closed them down here, didn't they?
I want to throw a master ball at it.
Man, I wish I could watch that. Oh my goodness.
The Lord of the Rings movies they're re-releasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nearest one to us is 3 hours away.
Yep.
Wow.
Same.
And that's just, you know, not possible right now with, you know, 3 movies that are over 3 hours long each. All
you'd
showing
have
on
to
different
say-
weekends. But our local theater is still completely shut down. It's an AMC.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. But hopefully vaccinations will help.
Yeah, I think in the summer and fall things are gonna start opening up again, and it'll be if Rigo really opens and says, "Hey, we're gonna start out small doing re-releases," we should try to push on them again with Alita because they were planning to do it, but then they decided, "Oh, we have to close. We're not making money." But we could get another $100,000 for Alita if we do that.
Oh, I'm sure the army would pile in there if they had the opportunity.
Yeah. So
Speak of the angel and her army arrives.
That's right.
Did anyone actually calculate how much Alita made during the re-release back in October? I don't recall.
Yeah, at least $115,000, but it wasn't much. But still, that's $115,000. It's a house right there, almost.
100 grand is 100 grand.
Yeah, Disney probably saw that number.
I thought I read 228, but
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Charlie Schmidt has numbers there. He usually has them on. He's probably sitting there waiting to post them into text chat. So, Charlie, if you're there,
Yeah.
give us the numbers.
Yeah, I googled it and said 115, I think, but maybe that was wrong.
Well, I mean, there were various places that kept it running for a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
I bet it's more. Yeah, it could be 200,000 because maybe they just didn't get updated on Google.
If I remember correctly, I can't remember who it was that poked at them about it. But someone tried to get a hold of, was it someone at the numbers or Disney? I don't know. One of the two, and they said that they had stopped keeping track of Alita's numbers after a certain point for
Maybe
the re-release.
publicly. I'm sure privately they have the numbers.
Oh yeah, no doubt they do.
Publicly, yeah, publicly all I saw was 115 or something like that, but it might be more that they just haven't released it.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of how much it actually put on the final total, I think it was worth the effort in as much as, you know, during a pandemic, people were still going to the cinema to see this movie. So,
and that was and Texas was just barely opening up, so most people were not going out. So, but if Rigo opens up, we need to seize on that opportunity.
I was really surprised. It's a shame too, with a lot more people in California, New York, and all those places.
Yeah.
But even down here where I'm at, I mean, people go to movies where I live, but I mean, for the most part, with all this going on, that no one's really been going. There was the max amount of people I counted when one of my showings that I went to. There was, not counting me or my roommate who decided to also show up, there was 16 other people in there.
Oh,
that's pretty damn good. When you think about, and by the way, I think there was another movie, I can't remember what it was, that was coming out at the same time that hardly anyone was watching.
Hocus Pocus.
So Alita was I don't know if it was, well, Hocus Pocus made a lot during that weekend, I think. But there was no other movie out, at least where I lived, where there was many people really showing up, except Alita. I didn't go watch every movie in theaters, but you get what I'm saying.
Halloween probably wasn't the best time, but it doesn't really symbolize Alita. Valentine's would have been better.
True.
Well, Paul,
We got it, and that's what matters.
Paul Untitled made sure that happened, though.
Oh, yeah.
That work really made it represent Alita.
Yeah, I was expecting to see some artwork from him, and he didn't disappoint.
Oh, yeah, he pumped those out, I think, every week before the re-release.
So
Well,
Charles is saying possibly 200,000.
He released one like 2 days ago.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, you mean the last? Yeah, I made that my phone background.
Me too. Immediately.
Yeah. Well, you guys caught the live stream that Paul was on. He's a really nice bloke.
I haven't seen it yet.
Come on, Enigma. Look, I tell you something.
You mean on
watched
AlitaArmy?
that one?
Yeah, I did see a little bit. Okay, I was there. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there, but I was listening.
Ah, cool. Yeah, Nick's got a bit of back catalogue to get through.
It's true.
We don't talk short, unfortunately. We're chatty, friendly.
Charles Smith in the chat said if Alita is re-released in New York City and Los Angeles, kind of movie theaters this year, Alita could probably pull in at least 120 grand. Well, it wouldn't surprise me. It actually might even be more.
A lot of people are going back to theaters now.
Mm-hmm. Especially with all this hype with Godzilla coming out. I mean, hey, more people are going to come out for big monsters fighting each other.
Not a very deep movie.
Just the fact that it could make a second comeback would be huge anyway, just on its own. The fact that it made waves when it came out the first time with a re-release, and a second one would just kind of have to show the power of that fandom.
Alita coming back at all was a complete victory in every single way.
Yeah.
No matter how much it brought in.
Well, I was really concerned when basically the analysis of the people in the army was when we're not going to trend because the election's coming up and they're just squashing artificial trending. So, I mean, I think apparently we trended in a couple of states in the US, but everywhere else was sort of suppressed.
Yeah,
and it was kind of like, well, that's a bit disappointing. But because we used the tags and tagged the crap out of the cinemas, that's what got it through.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if we do for Inspiration 4, like only we don't need like the whole AlitaArmy to tag because we don't want to spam this guy and scare him. We just need a few of us, and with an image that shows in detail what is our request, and maybe Paul could make up something, and then we just tweet that and tag specific people, and that would get their attention to maybe DM the AlitaArmy. So we can send a request, a formal request, a paper. So, but yeah, we could talk about that in the future. But that's because we have until summer, I would say.
Yeah, drop the details to me. Paul needs a fair amount of lead time because he like his process is amazing. The number of images he goes through to get just the right angle and all that sort of stuff.
Watch my latest video at the end, and you'll see.
Yeah, so get that information to me, and I'll see what I can do about getting Paul on board for that. Cool. So, the thing about doing stuff on Twitter is that different groups can get different ideas of what happened. One example is when Nick was interviewing me with the email interview, one of his questions basically said, "Oh, the cinema decided to re-release Alita, and you guys got on board." And I went, actually, you've put the cat before the horse.
It's true, because I mean that's kind of what you get exposed to in that, like when the news is released like that.
I know. Yeah, we have to be the news. I mean,
yeah, we make the news, and then depending on how people see it, it gets reported differently. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cinemas were looking around for titles to re-release because there's this huge gap with no blockbusters coming out. But yeah, we gave them the idea. It wasn't the other way around.
Yeah.
The people's called, and the cinemas answered, and then some of them shut down. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, we couldn't. Angelus and I were bugging the local big cinema chains, but we couldn't get them to do anything in Australia, which is unfortunate.
I loved Cinemark's first tweet whenever they were responding. They said, "Ask and you shall receive." It didn't even take long.
They were
for them to
desperate.
get it. Oh yeah.
Well, that was Cinemark. Which one was the second one to respond? So
Marcus Theaters,
Regal
I
was
think.
first, but then they shut down.
Marcus and Regal.
Cinemark was the second one to respond. Didn't one? It might have been Regal. I think
And
Regal said,
AMC.
"We hear you, AlitaArmy," and that kind of echoed to me the statement from Avatar, Cameron's Avatar. I see you. That we hear you. So I thought they might have been angling on that.
Well, I know that we targeted several theaters at the same time. And I thought Cinemark was the first to respond, but either way, we got it.
Yeah, I went to Cinemark directly and talked to the lady, and she's actually the one that controls the Twitter stuff.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that part.
She's the
That explains a lot.
PR director, so she probably hires someone to type up whatever statement publicly.
Still.
But she can
Virtual pat on the back, Enigma. Well done.
I didn't think about the fact that.
So I'm guessing once Cinemark made their statement, people in Regal noticed, and then they came out right away, and then Geeks and Gamers noticed Regal doing that, so then they started spreading it around. But then Regal shut it down, saying, "Oh, actually, we can't do that. We don't have the money. we save more money if we just close down."
Yeah, that was a shame, but hey, they might come back.
AMC did do it too, so I'm not sure how much was made out of AMC, but yeah, it'd be interesting.
Well, I'm not sure where everybody stands on vaccination, but being a scientist, I understand the science of it. And presuming that they haven't diddled it, it's a good thing. So get your vaccination.
Yeah, my sister got it. She didn't get any side effects yet.
I got a mate who also lives in Texas. He had the Pfizer jab, and he had some fairly full-on reactions to it. But generally, that's not such a bad thing. It means that your immune system's kicking over pretty hard, and you'll build up a lot of.
Sure, it depends on the person.
Exactly. That's the thing about medicine. Everybody presumes that it should work exactly the same way for every individual, and it's not the case at all. I mean, there's for an example, ibuprofen, the headache and anti-inflammatory drug.
That stuff hurts
widely, especially by myself. There's like 10% of people who can't take it. They're allergic to it. Yeah. And, there's this all-pervading idea that all medicine should work the same way for all people, and it doesn't, because people are individuals. And some people just can't deal with some medicines. So,
Tylenol messes me up.
I mean, somebody sees somebody faint after having a jab or having an allergic reaction, and they think, "Oh no, it's the drug that they've injected. It's bad." And so, no, that's the person's individual reaction. Individual results will vary. So, don't presume that you see one bad thing, it's going to happen to you. That's not the way medicines work. They work. Okay, I've dragged us off topic. I'm going to drag us back on topic. So just before I do start dragging things around, Cranberry, you were saying in text chat that you're working on something. You want to fill us in on that?
I can. I have a needle in my mouth right now that tells you anything.
Cranberry, are you drawing porn? I'm reading the comments. I'm like, what are we talking about?
She's doing hand tattooing
man.
of hentai on her body.
There you go.
With a hand. Both hands or just the one?
You gotta say one hand for the other.
Let's keep it PG-13.
Oh my god.
All right. F your mercy.
Oh, that's how one F-bomb was stuck now. Nobody else is like this.
There you go. I put presented my screen so you can see what I'm working on.
Man, that's some voodoo doll shit going on right
Yeah,
Do I need to make a video about this?
Can you just pan to the right? That's that.
Kind of looks like a gingerbread man.
I was kind of thinking that too.
It's to prove that
pajamas for your hands.
If you have a look at the background that Starvellian is using for the Alita stream, I know that some of you won't have both windows up, but power users like myself do. You will see something down in the bottom right-hand corner that should give away what she's working on.
Cool beans. I like
Chibilita.
that.
Oh, the chibi. Okay.
That's so cool.
Huh. Interesting.
This is my second draft of the body. We'll see how this one goes.
So what is it? Some kind of knitting?
No, it's I'm making
Embroidery?
plushies.
Making what?
Plushies.
Making plushies, dude. I would buy. But
So
I
is
do
it-
for
is
a
it gonna-
cheap Alita.
I refer you to the tuned arc.
Yep.
Hold on,
And
hold
the-
on.
Yeah.
Flu's computer that smacks around.
God, why didn't
Very
they fucking make plushies for the movie? What the hell? Fox. They better hear this.
All jobs. Don't be too hard on them.
Oh,
There's so much they could do in terms of action
Dude.
figures and
Beanie Baby Alitas. I mean, just imagine.
Well, I mean, you look at what Paul Title was doing around the re-release with the Grogu and Yoko mashup. So, I mean, the option was there.
Rodriguez picked up on that, by the way. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, he posted that.
Mm-hmm.
Tweeted, yeah.
So cool.
Alrighty. So thanks for that, Cran. We're all looking
You're
forward to that. Now you're going to
Make
be
it
bugged
next
about
one.
that.
Okay,
know how that
so we'll see how these go.
I think they're going to be awesome.
I'm trying, guys. I am working on it.
So,
Interesting to see.
we've been at this for half an hour and we haven't even got to the
Oh,
news
geez.
yet. Crap. So this is our 24-hour stream. No, don't do that. Angelus, how would you like to smack the news out? I mean, give us the news.
Oh, that's what she said.
Right on that derriere.
Nice.
Alrighty, so starting off with a few tweets, low key, I've another fan that I've like
Korra.
the new
I like Korra.
all these new fans that I haven't sort of heard from, not heard of, it's probably the wrong context to say it in. But that either people keep on discovering Alita or we keep on discovering new Alita fans, and this particular person decided that, well, I noticed a bit of correlation here between Alita and Korra, and even though I haven't,
I kind of see it a little bit, yeah. Even in
Even
the
though-
actual story struggle.
and I've never seen, well, haven't seen yet the
you should check it out.
Korra.
The story is really good. Like, I mean, it's
But,
a little messy compared to the original, but
It started a little
politics is
rough.
yeah, the politics is really interesting in how they
Korra
present all
Alita.
that.
They ever did the Dragon Ball fusion dance, but anyway.
I actually only just got into Avatar: The Last Airbender and then Korra with my son in the last couple of months. He's 7, and we were looking for something that hit both levels. So
Yeah,
this
it's
is
more
a story
mature.
you can watch with a 7-year-old, and if they're switched on, they will get something out of it. And you can watch it, and the story is good enough for adults as well as kids.
I
So
love Avatar. So
Avatar
good
was
to watch
Korra's
Yeesh.
PG, I think.
Korra is more early teens, but my 7-year-old's going on 14, so that's come along.
Well, if he's anything like his dad, he should pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah, got to keep up with him. Jeez.
All right. Another particular tweet that I found is this one here. When I was fairly new to only 19 hours ago, and it kind of made me hungry. But some of the things that people can come up with when they're inspired just never cease to amaze me.
As compared to thirsty.
What is that?
Ooh,
Oh,
I don't even know what that is.
some cookie dough looking
I'm-
thing.
I think it's a crepe. I
Omi
think it's a
rice?
crepe.
Looks like
It's
a
a
pastry.
folded over crepe.
It could be a crepe.
Oh,
I can't. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I still can't tell.
This man
Omelette
knows his
rice.
food.
Okay. Like,
I think it's
Wow,
cool. I'd like to see more food-inspired Alita products, right? I mean, at least chocolate.
Well,
Has anyone actually tried the Robert Rodriguez's chocolate recipe? I think.
No.
It's actually a pretty
I've seen
complicated
it,
process. Based on what I saw.
and even the leader approves. All right, this one comes all the way from the UK, and as we know, as leader fans, we're always sort of wanting to recreate our Battle Angel in various video games, whether it be Skyrim, Cyberpunk, etc. And this one comes from Final Fantasy XIV, and like I said, from one of our very own, Vladdy777. And yeah, I think he's hit the mark pretty close to home there. Although to be fair, I think all you really need to do is get the whole war paint under the eyes, and
Yeah, you
that's,
can't do that in 14. Unfortunately, that's as close as you can get.
But I mean, even that little sort of Pikachu setup there, like you put that under the eyes. That's who doesn't think of a leader that knows the character?
homage.
Homage, yeah.
Yeah, somehow we need to get the NFL to sponsor Alita.
Oh Lord,
Super Bowl someday.
you're talking
if we get the
expenses, my
sequel,
dude.
we should push for that.
I think that the studio will probably cover that one. I mean, they did it for the first
Yeah.
one. That's like a good couple $1 million dollars we're looking at.
Didn't Dua Lipa was sponsored by the NFL? Didn't she do a song?
I believe so. Swan Song, I think, was part of that.
Yeah,
That's part of what
too
went to
much
the marketing costs, and I do not believe it's a small amount either.
Yeah.
Hey, they're always patching Cyberpunk 2077, aren't they? Because they're fixing stuff. Maybe the AlitaArmy can lean on them to try and put some Alita customization in there.
To get some mods in there.
Well, yeah, the modding community. I mean, that's the other place to look.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to incorporate some of that stuff into the thing. So.
Now, before I move on to the next piece, I'll just quickly ask if Cran can remind me to talk to you more about this, because it's something I want to pick this up as well. So after the stream, remind me to talk to you about Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay.
We're going to lose another one to Final Fantasy XIV.
I've never played it.
Well, I've
Not a video game guy.
about to.
Hey, my
go
ass
through
is here.
About to go through my fourth playthrough of Cyberpunk, and 500 hours in. So.
Lordy.
Yeah, I know. I might be a little bit obsessed with Pan Am, but. All right. Now we're on to the Alita articles. This one talks about again, most of these, most of the bullet points have already been covered in others, but
this is kind of old news.
But the fact that it's still news in people's minds, the fact that news outlets, and not just Comic Watch, but like other sources as well, are still reporting on Alita, means that that's one part of our mission as the AlitaArmy fandom that we've achieved, and that's keeping Alita, at the forefront of people's minds and hearts and so forth.
I think in April 23rd, Alita's going to be formally on Disney Plus, the first movie, of course. So on the Disney Plus 18 in the US, as right now I think it's overseas, but now they're going to, I think it's on April 28th. I'm not sure. Star might know. I think they're going to release Alita formally on Disney Plus 18 in the US on the April 23rd. I'm not sure if that's right, but I thought I saw that you posted it.
You could keep an eye on that.
That's going to definitely boost her viewing.
Yeah, I mean, Disney Plus is huge. I didn't even realize it was actually coming to Disney Plus. I know they put out that Star preview. Was that?
That's what I was thinking.
Titles, and I couldn't. I searched through that image and couldn't find Alita.
They did show her actually during the Disney Plus investor meeting. It's just a very quick screenshot.
Was that for Disney Plus or for Star though? Because I remember it being Star. I don't know.
Disney
think it
Plus
was
Star,
Hulu and
Disney
I'm not
Plus
sure.
Star in India and across Southeast Asia is the old Fox streaming service. So they just basically rebranded it, and that has always had a leader on it.
Yeah, and they're
So
gonna put it on
obviously,
Hulu too.
the situation will vary depending on where you are. But yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty obvious it was going to come to the to Disney streaming in the US eventually, but in other parts of the world, it's already there.
Yeah, they're testing other markets to see how it responds.
Now, if I was to pick this article apart, obviously this one right here is a little bit, well, not just a little bit, wildly inaccurate, because it hints like about the stars that we could see in Alita 2, and well, for starters, no Jennifer Connelly, possibly a screen, but no Keenan Johnson, no Jackie O'Hurley, because he gets split into two. He gets he gets
Never know.
fissioned.
Did they watch
And
it?
definitely no Mahershala Ali as Vector. But I'm just getting nitpicky there.
There was a body count,
I
wasn't there?
hope they bring back Vector. I really do. They should have killed him off.
All right, let's see. That's Alita, Vector.
I think it's that whole thing of the protagonist has got to make an impact on the antagonist thing, which is
Sharon's coming back. Oh, definitely. I think.
and I'm pretty sure that in the OVA, Vector dies, and it's more obvious than ever, after a million watchings, that
the OVA,
the movie sort of follows the OVA a lot more than the manga in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So we'll find out more about that actually, because this is a bit of news, but now I've got to get her name right. I'm terrible.
It's just say Alita.
Calogridis, I think.
Calogridis, I believe is how you say it.
Calogridis. Yeah, thank you. That was co-writer of the original script with James Cameron. We might be getting to chat with her in April if things go our way. So look out for that one.
Alrighty. Some of you might already know and realize that this is out, but there's another post by Dark Zone Collectibles of the leader motorball statue, and I know most of you are probably plucking your ears because you can hear your wallets groaning at this very point. And while it's probably still cheap,
sharpening knives. That's
the whole nails across the chalkboard and all that fun stuff.
Oh, I gotta stop spending money.
But no, I mean, like even when the movie was just being released, and there was even a limit on merch. It's good that this kind of stuff is still coming out, and this sort of thing too does help lend towards the whole keeping your leader relevant mission as well. So it's really.
I don't think that's
awesome
formal merch though.
Yeah.
Like I don't think any of that money is going to go to the studio. That's someone's private project, probably.
I don't know.
The
Queen Studios and what is it? Hot Toys? I can't remember.
Hot Toys, I think, does though.
Well,
that one is
yes,
based off the one. So unless he's made a deal with Kishiro,
that could be very possible.
Yeah, it could be possible. But I know the Hot Toys one, like that's a copyright thing, so they're gonna have to pay for that design to the studio.
But this is definitely manga if you look at the design.
It actually looks like the character model from the PlayStation game. I don't know if you guys ever saw a gameplay of that.
Martian Memory.
Yeah.
All right. How many? We've got a couple more items to go. What it's really like to be a member of the Leader Battle Angels AlitaArmy. It was some time ago. I think maybe on the February 9th or February 10th that I did read it, basically as soon as it came out. But, some of them I was like, doing the whole Drake meme. Yep, that's the one. And some of them I was just sort of sitting back laughing. But and most of these points we covered earlier with Nick. Like, for example, we do try to be a beacon of positivity. Being, I hate to say it, but being what the internet isn't. Well, most of it anyway. Definitely Twitter. But it just goes through all the bullet points and explains it in more details and whatnot. But it's an interesting read. And it mentions a certain duel.
Yeah, stop outing me, damn it. I do have to slap Nick around a little bit for this because I asked him to use my first initial of my surname and he put a few extra letters in there.
Uh-oh.
Well.
Actually, he does mention you a few times. I mean, I know that you obviously I got in touch with Nick and some of the other guys as well, but
Yeah.
what was this one all about?
Like I was really shocked to see this one because I was like, oh, whoa, no way, somebody else did an article about how positive the fandom is. And when I opened it up, it was really based on the interview that I did with MaxTag here. I was super excited to see they kind of pulled pretty much all the themes from our pretty extensive interview and did a short recap on most of it.
Yep, in an interview with Comic Watch.
Yeah.
Had you seen that before I pointed it out to you, Nick?
No, I had seen the AlitaArmy sharing the article, and I opened it up, but I didn't realize that the whole thing was based on our interview. And once I started reading through it, I was like, no way, this is really cool. And just
I insist on right now that your interview was an exclusive. All right, I hadn't done this for anyone else.
Yes, and I really love that because this kind of shows how that snowball effect can happen, where we get together and connect and do this interview, and then somewhere else on the internet an article pops up showing that it is a beacon of positivity, something we harped on pretty heavily in our interview, and it just kind of creates that wave of positivity almost and brings more people in the fandom.
Well, I find it interesting that Looper is watching Comic Watch, so That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's something, right?
Yeah, totally.
And before moving on to the next piece, one more point that both of you sort of alluded to is that despite Alita being not as a larger fandom as something like the Snyder Cut in comparison, we do make a lot more noise, per capita, as you put it out. And the fact that like Comic Watch, Looper, Cinema Blend, and all these other sources are at the very least keeping an eye out on us, and at the very most, getting in contact with us and making all these articles and tweets and whatnot means that people paying attention to this rather small but vocal fandom. So in
a purely business perspective, it's clicks, and you can rely on the AlitaArmy clicks. So we have value. Put it that way.
And they might have an interest too in Alita. Like, let's say Simoblend is who's on Simoblend? I forgot the guys that you guys interviewed, but they liked Alita, so they were promoting just because they actually liked the movie. And it could be the case with Looper. They also actually do like the movie and they want to promote it more. It might be in their interest. So it's good to find those news articles, entertainment news articles that actually might have an interest in promoting.
Yeah.
And of course, they responded because of the re-release, and they made a video. So if we can get Looper to do another video, that helps a lot because that's hundreds of thousands of views versus the article.
Yeah. And that's sort of the same thing that happened with me at Comic Watch. I was just a big fan of Alita, and that pushed me into discovering the AlitaArmy and kind of bringing that audience into Comic Watch, because it wasn't something that we would have just pursued outside of somebody being a fan and just enjoying it on that
networking.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I only have one question. Why did it take you 2 years?
Right. I think that comes from my focus on just the comics, because Comic Watch is pretty specific about, we cover so much of the big two, Marvel and DC, and I'm in the process of growing our anime team a lot. So we're covering a lot more anime, a lot more manga, and as our media team grows and Comic Watch expands, our audience is getting just it's growing in crazy amounts. It's hard to keep control of it really, but this is something that I felt was just such a natural fit. Once I was actually exposed to what the AlitaArmy was doing, I've kind of been kicking myself that it has taken 2 years to find my way around on it, but so excited to be a part of it now.
It would be good to get articles to write the correlations between, Pikachu Detective, Alita, Sonic, because these are new kind of genre of movies. Just like there was a fad with what's it, like the teen kind of novels that kind of came out, like Hunger Games, and Divergence. Those were kind of a certain niche, and that was a phenomenon, but died down. So now Alita could be representing a new phenomenon in the movie industry, with live action animated adaptations, which could be really taking off, depending if Alita gets a sequel, if Pikachu Detective gets a sequel, and that really could start a whole new trend. And that's a phenomenon to kind of like get out there and let people know about.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I hadn't made those connections.
It's a very good point, Enigma, because these sort of grassroots-led sort of phenomenons are the things that the big players will look at and go, hey, this is really taking off. We need to utilize this. And that's part of the AlitaArmy's mission. So these are the sort of things we have to recognize there could be something and make them something.
Yeah,
and then
I argue that in my video.
Alita gets a big sort of boost up.
Well, I can definitely say that I'm excited to see how this goes in the future. And regardless, speaking of crazy though, I can't even activate the audio for this for technical reasons, but also for censorship reasons.
You've got it muted. That's why you can't activate the audio.
No, like I had it muted for a reason, aside from the technical issues. But again, this is a particular movie review or reaction, and just seeing other people's excitement about the movie gets me excited. And
this week on flipping out over Alita.
I know, right? And actually, I'm probably going to use that next time, maybe for Gary's stream. But yeah, just seeing anyone and everyone, whether it's through their artwork, through their YouTube videos, through whatever, it really, brings a tear to my eye. I won't lie, and yeah. But this is like one of the smaller news items, but definitely one worth a watch if you. It was tweeted as well and retweeted by the
video.
Yeah. Mr. Purple Zero, if you wanted to look it up on YouTube.
That's a good review.
I retweeted that one because he was so lit up. I mean, it just reminded me of how I felt about it when I first saw it. It was just like, you're on fire. You're just like, oh, I got to tell people about this.
Yeah.
Now, this one I haven't watched yet, mainly because I only just discovered it yesterday, and I've been working on the show notes off and on and talking with Ray. But does anyone else know much about Alita Law's video here?
Yeah, I used him in my video too. the discussion with him. So
I watched the whole thing, but I couldn't. There's so much they talked about. I couldn't really break it down to you. It's one of those things. It's better off just kind of checking on your own.
Yeah, I was trying to get in my video. Go ahead, sorry.
Get your own perspective of it. So I think Alita Law did this because Criesta put out a video and it seemed rather negative, at least in the first part. And he actually, Criesta said in the comments that he didn't realize how negative he was sounding in the first half of the video until he rewatched it. And that's another thing that you can get caught up in as a creator. You're creating a video and you're running ideas together that make sense in sort of like a small view of it. But then as you look at it in the big view, you go, oh, that sort of came off different to what I intended. So, he was saying that he didn't mean to be quite as negative as it sounded. And then I think Alita Law wanted to then sort of look into that and try and put a little bit of a different spin on it. So that's why that second video came to be.
he responded to Enigma's newest video too, and I don't have it in front of me, but he
I
did
almost
have a
convinced him.
response. Yeah, he shoot, actually,
I mean, I liked his video, honestly. He's
oh
right,
yeah, it was a
but
good
I'm just
video.
saying, my main point of my argument against him is that, you've got, there's phenomenons in the marketplace, and you fit within those phenomenons to make money, and, you're not going to show extra graphic, slicing up that dog, because guess what? Because that's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay those designers to spend another 10 seconds to show that graphic scene. Or it costs a lot of money for those details. So I understand his arguments about the gratuitous violence and all that, and how it's a
Right.
theme in Alita. But
I
guys
found
can
his
check out the video.
comment on your video. He said, "My cranky old man heart actually felt the stirring of optimism for a bit. Good job."
No, it's more a case of it's a different medium. Movies are different from
Yeah.
manga. Now, the manga sells
Limitations.
well within a certain niche, and that certain niche doesn't mind the graphic violence. And I don't have a problem with graphic violence, but when it's all about perception and who's likely to go to this movie, it's a coming of age movie. It's sort of based around a character who at the beginning of the movie seems early teens, but by the end of the movie is obviously not. It's obviously late teens. And that sort of an idea, most sort of movie creators are thinking, well, you're not going to make an R-rated movie about a 14-year-old. That's not a good idea.
Right. Cameron said that.
It has been done, but not very.
I don't think Yukito sees it as a coming of age story. I don't think that's how he sees it.
No. Well, that's the difference between the manga and the movie. The movie is an adaptation.
Yeah.
It's an adaptation, and it's a different medium. So you've got to change the rules are different. So things have got to be changed slightly. And some of the things they changed, I understood. Some of them I wasn't real happy about. It's a whole nother stream in itself. But the upshot is that you've kind of got to aim slightly differently. And that's why they changed some of the things they did.
Yeah.
I would like future Alitas to be R-rated because it fits better with where the story goes.
It does.
Yeah, and that's something that we see a lot at Comic Watch. The adaptation between the Marvel and DC films and how they handle comic properties, and that's something I was surprised I don't see a lot of in the AlitaArmy is the comparison on what we see in the film versus what we got in the manga, and it was pretty accurate from what I've read and from what I've seen. They changed a little bit, but it feels like it works better, like Maxac was saying, for the film medium, and that it feels like a familiar adaptation that captures a lot of the same themes. So it's not really jarring by any means.
Well, to be fair, by the time that the sequel gets released, all the people that did see it when they were a kid will be an adult by then.
Right. I was just about to say that. Because by the time, I think they could get away with making the third one R. Now it'd be kind of hard to avoid it, honestly, given what happens. But it's one of those things where they actually made a lot more changes than people think. Or maybe, well, maybe that's my opinion. But most of those changes are going to affect things that happen like way later. The actual beginnings of the story are damn near the same for the most part. There's some differences, but it's the stuff going forward that has people concerned.
Yeah.
Like one thing Sarista talked about was Nova. We don't really know enough about Nova or even Zalem now in the first movie to really say what it's going to be like, as definite. We don't know. And that's one of the reasons why it works. It's a mystery, and that's kind of the point. So, it unravels.
The mysteries of the manga readers, which is why I say you can read the manga without being particularly spoiled.
Exactly.
And I'm sure Robert Rodriguez has read the manga fully. Like, I'm sure he's analyzing it, and he's like saying, okay, what works within the actual market, and what do I need to change in order to make something?
Right.
He has to.
That's why I think Last Order is going to be one of those things they'd have to go full blown anime with that, because they're so. Actually, I don't even need to say, y'all already know.
And Yukito could still sell the rights to a Japanese studio to actually make the anime. Disney's not going to do that, but Disney could sell the rights to some studio in Japan to do
It's funny, they don't want to do that, but they sure love taking from it.
Well, I don't think Disney's going to actually make an anime. That's because that's kind of violating some cultural appropriation, and they might have some issues with people in Japan. Japanese studios want to file lawsuits and stuff. So most likely they're going to contract it out. If they do make an anime for Hulu, but that might
Yeah.
not be until 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, it could be a while.
Yeah.
I would totally be
And-
down for an anime. Just seeing the popularity.
Yukito has the right to go to any studio and say, "Yeah, you have permission." In Japan, he could do that.
No, he doesn't.
It's his work. He could reach out.
He sold the animation rights to Cameron.
Yep.
No, he sold the animation rights to Fox. Cameron, as far as I understand, Cameron bought the
Okay, well then they would have the
live
contract.
action rights, but they were bundled. So
Hmm.
Well then
So
Disney,
Disney
would
would have to be
contract
convinced
out.
to release it. This is the problem. Disney likes hoarding IPs, and I don't
Yes.
understand it. I don't understand the desire to do that. Really, I mean, sure, they want to have dibs on making all the money off all the IPs, but they're not making any money off it. They're just hanging on to it.
So nobody else can do it. No one else can compete. Which is funny because they're not even using it.
It's like that kid who buys a cricket set for Christmas, sorry, very Australian, and then won't let anybody else use it because it's his, and nobody plays cricket.
Yeah. What's cricket?
Disney, the worst hoarder.
Insert baseball here. Okay, there you go.
What
It's ground baseball.
I know.
Before we move on to the main topic, going off something that Enigma said, I do also believe, and this also gives me hope as well, that Rodriguez has at least like skimmed, if not read, the manga in its entirety, because of like moments where Gruishka said he'd make Alita into a pendant
Yeah,
to
that's
adorn
straight
his
out of the
chest.
manga.
That is directly out of the manga.
Because that
And-
does not come from the
OVA.
in the OVA, yeah.
Well, he has a team that's probably reading it for him, and they're analyzing it and telling him, what we might need to do. And of course, he's read it too, I'm sure. But I'm sure there's a team trying to figure out.
Or
what
maybe,
change.
yeah, like you said, the team reads it and says, "What do you think of adding this into the scene?" And then he might go read that particular panel himself, and then see how he wants to work it into the movie as he envisions it as the director. So,
Like
Yeah,
in,
you're
the,
right.
in the behind the scenes for the actual film, I have it on iTunes. So when you're ever to watch behind the scenes, they talk about some of the team who was scrolling through the manga and they pulled like very specific imagery.
Yeah.
And there's like 900 different images that they wanted to incorporate in the film. That was just
900
one directly
panels.
from it. Yeah.
I think they'll do that again.
And I
And
think
Rosa,
that's what
Rosa
make it
used
work.
the manga as a coloring book, and she was coloring all the panels in.
I still want to do that.
It's an awesome idea. I mean, Cranberry's done like maybe 10 panels, but the whole freaking first 2 volumes, wow.
Right.
That's dedication. One thing I should bring up before I forget it again, goddamn Sunday morning brain, but a lot of people get confused and think that the 1,000 pages of notes that Cameron had was actually the script. It wasn't the script. So Cameron has 1,000 pages of notes on the original series and what his feelings about it and how it should be converted into a movie. From that he wrote the script for the first movie, which obviously is the first 2 volumes plus a bit of the 3rd and 4th volume. Now, people go, "Oh, that's the script. The 1,000 pages of notes is the script." It's not. The script has not been written for the 2nd and 3rd movies. There's notes. There's no script.
I don't think they've written that up.
I believe
So
they should.
Landau has stated back, I think it was the end of 2019 when he was winding us up to Pepper Disney. He said, in movies like this, to write a sequel or to produce a sequel, you're going to need 6 months for the script. Then you're going to need, and he went on, and the script has not been written yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
And the
there's
actual
no-
movie itself, like it takes about 4 years once you actually start on everything. At
Yeah,
least 4 years.
roughly.
Well, I get the distinct impression that the reason that Alita was actually being it was supposed to be out 8 months before it was released, and I think that Weta needed those 8 months because they had a whole bunch of issues to deal with, and I actually think there was a couple of scenes where they hadn't quite completed the VFX up to the standard of the other scenes in the theatrical release, but they finished it by the time the Blu-ray came out because it wasn't there.
Yeah, I noticed that with
When Alita's been captured by the motorballers on the street, and they like Screwhead's grabbing her hair and pulling her up, there was definitely some problems with the CGI in that scene on the theatrical release, but it wasn't there in the Blu-ray because
I noticed that. Also noticed that the other cyborgs, mainly the TR cyborgs, didn't quite. I don't know if it was just the theater or what, but and even still, I don't think the CG for a lot of the TR cyborgs was that good. I don't know if it's just it may just be me, but
my upshot of bringing that up, was that they needed the extra time to get the CGI right, and I'm glad they took it.
Because oftentimes for me, it felt like I was looking at just a human. Well, I mean, it is a real person's face, but like meshed onto a CG body. And I know that's actually the case, but usually you try to make it not look like that. But it, like Nissiana, I kept looking at her thinking, I'm not buying this. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me.
I mean, there's so many different levels of making it look realistic, and to get them all processed for all of those scenes took huge numbers of computer hours, like 10,000 years worth of computer hours, or something ridiculous like that. So, getting all that done, they would have started with Alita, get Alita right because she's the focus, and then work your way towards the edges, as it were. And some of that I don't think was completed for the theatrical release, but it was finished for the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So
they choose the level of detail will change. Like if for a fast scene, they're not gonna put too much detail on it because it's gonna be so fast. For in close shots, they're gonna put more time on it. But like the motorball scenes, I definitely noticed like that guy's face looks so fake. But
the big dude with the buzzsaws. Yep, that's the one I was talking about.
I mean, they didn't spend as much time on the motorball.
But not so much in the Blu-ray. I think they cleaned it up a bit. Because the difference between a theatrical and a Blu-ray is that the Blu-ray is going to be paused a heck of a lot. And there's going to be screenshots taken from it, so they've got to make it look good.
I mean, it looked more real than like the Pokemon in Detective Pikachu. Like you could just tell it was almost like a joke, actually, though. Like the Pokemon just looks so fake in it, but you didn't care though. In a movie like that, you don't really care because it's just that's just the style.
You can't tell.
And Alita, they're trying to make it realistic as possible.
Like in the behind the scenes, they talk about how the technology for a lot of the CGI was developed so closely in parallel with what was used in Avatar, and I feel like they were trying to push a lot of that technology in a lot of different ways than what we saw in Avatar, and you could tell like when it worked and when it didn't work so well.
Well, Cameron has said that the technology for those two movies are leapfrogging each other. So they're both at the cutting edge, and I mean we'll see it with Avatar 2 and 3 and 4 and 10.
Just imagine what Fallen Angel's going to look like.
Right.
Yeah, but the technology will leapfrog to there, and then the next Alita I'm expecting will come out after that, and it'll leapfrog again. And my hope is that the costs will decrease for the same level of perfection. And that way the Alita sequel will cost less because of Avatar 2.
Yeah. I mean, they've already, the hair simulation technology has already been incorporated into, what was it called? I saw this a week ago from Fox. Shoot. It's a game engine. I can't think of the name. Unreal 4. They've incorporated the Weta technology into their engine as of, I think, several months ago. So, yay! You can thank Alita for that.
And probably RTX because you need a chunky card.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But you're gonna be seeing even if you're not on.
See, my fear is like if Alita goes to Paramount, you're not gonna get Weta Digitals making Paramount movies. I don't think. I don't think they work. I think the contracts are probably all for Disney related content. So if Alita goes to another studio, the Weta might not be making it.
Well, the other point is that Weta can't deal with so much at a time. They've only got so many people and so much to do.
So many contracts.
There will be a preferential scale of who gets their time.
Wait a minute! I thought wasn't the Apes movie through or Planet of the Apes through Paramount, or was that Fox?
Is it Fox? I'm not sure.
Because I know Weta had worked on those. That was like their
Okay.
their
Yeah, you're right.
child.
Hmm.
Maybe it wasn't Paramount. I can't remember.
I'd love to hear your
it is,
opinion
actually.
because with Cameron always pushing the envelope, and that's more of a good thing than bad than anything else. In terms of cost, though, because he is always, like I said, pushing that envelope, pushing the boundaries of what you can do with VFX, would it actually reduce the costs, or would it keep it
No.
comparable to?
If they make a
Depends.
sequel, it's going to be another 200 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get more expensive.
It
I mean-
depends what they do.
That's where I'm
with,
worried.
I mean, if they keep it in Iron City, that will reduce the cost. But if it goes up
Maybe
to
it goes
Zalem or anywhere else, there's whole new vistas and things that have to be
Yeah.
created.
Yeah, that is
Like
true.
what they
But
have
then
in Austin,
again,
Texas, they're going to have to demolish that and redo some other kind of scenery to that. And
they're going to need to start fixing it even sooner now because
Yeah.
it's already been some time since then.
I might
Do
drive
some
down there
repair
and
work.
see if anything's changed. Peek over the fence.
You got pretty close last time.
Yeah, maybe if I get to a Starship launch, I'll stop by.
I think it could really depend. Because also one thing to bear in mind as far as like doing Vista, like I said, vistas for Zalem is that the technology that the Mandalorian has incorporated, I think is probably, I mean, I could be wrong, but is probably a lot cheaper than what they set up for Alita, but it's still pretty damn
Yeah.
convincing. They could use that. Was it the CG walls or what? I can't think of what they're called, but
Oh,
LED
yeah.
walls.
That's kind
That's-
of cheap, I thought.
I thought it looked damn good.
Well, when you have a desert
Personally.
environment, it's very easy to draw that stuff. It's like
Oh yeah, but think about
they save a lot
what
of money
happens
doing
later.
that.
Think about what happens later though in the story of Tuned. If they really wanted to do it, they could.
Yeah,
Planet of the Apes is now under Disney, by the way. It was Fox.
Ah shit.
it was Fox. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
You
But-
remember that movie that Disney did, which is actually quite good, called The Black Hole? It was like
Mm.
1980.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you should watch it.
I've read
It's
the
good.
novelization.
It's a fantastic movie. It was one of those seminal movies like Star Wars that affected me as I was growing up. Yes, I know. It's quite a dark movie for Disney at the time, but it is good within its context of when it was created. But Disney has now become the black hole, sucking in all of the light from all of the IPs.
Yeah, they have a large, super
I think
soft power base.
going forward with it, I mean the price could very well go up or go down. But me personally, I'm far more Cameron. Yeah, he's always trying to push the envelope, and that's nice. But I'd much rather him if they kept
I
the
think he's
second
just
one
riding
looking-
he's just riding the train.
I know, but if they just kept
technology
even if they just kept it looking the exact same as this movie that we have now, I'd be just fine with that. Personally, I'm more concerned about story than how pretty it looks. I mean, I don't want a gold covered
graphics do
turd, no
matter.
offense.
Yeah,
Yes,
graphics do matter. I mean, that's why they want to see Superman and Marvel and all that because it's the graphics people like. It's that detail. And look at like for example, like Miyazaki films. Like people rewatch that because it's the background landscape details are so amazing, but the foreground is simple. But that's why people like it because most anime, the background's not very detailed. Now, one thing you might see a change in the movie industry is, you know, in anime, like they have these sweeping camera moves because they're using 3D. Like Demon Slayer, for example, I was watching a video on that.
Yeah.
They're showing how they're incorporating new technology within anime, and that sweeping, weird camera movements that's
It
very
works.
flowy. They might do that for movies more. It's that stagnant kind of imagery.
It works really well. I can't tell when it's CG
Yeah.
and when it's not, actually.
Yeah,
The Hobbit
pretty high
movie
tech.
was guilty of that. Something shocking.
Yeah, and it did not do a very good job with it either. But then again, they were being brushed by Warner Brothers, but that's another story.
Yeah,
I have
think
a
they use
grudge
a lot
against
of.
Peter
They use
Jackson.
sorry.
Oh, you're good.
They use
Sorry.
a lot of CGI on in Attack on Titan. I think they switched studios this season. I couldn't tell when they were using CGI. I mean, I sort of could, but
It's
I
the
don't know.
movement of the camera. You can actually tell. Like in Ray, that one show on Netflix, Dragon something. I forgot what it's called.
Dragon Prince.
Dragon
Yeah,
Prince?
yeah. Like they use 3D in that, and then you can tell by how they move the cameras and the scenes and how they scale in and out. And it does sort of work with a little. Gotta get used to it, I guess.
I think another point is whether or not, like I would be fine with it looking consistent and comparable to what we saw in the first one, because
Yes.
it's too big of a drastic change. I mean, you're going to get the reaction that Miyazaki's actually getting right now, or Studio Ghibli, that Earwig and the Witch. The new one that just came out on HBO Max looks so different than anything that you would expect coming from that company. I think if you got too far away from what we saw in the first Alita, it might just be too drastic and too jarring. And
Yeah, they'll stay. I hope
It could.
consistent.
Yeah.
But I think it also will tell you a lot based on how Avatar 2 looks, because we can only guess right now
yeah,
as to what that's. But I imagine it's going to look leaps and bounds beyond what it did before. I mean, I don't know. I don't know just how far this stuff can go. I mean, you can only make it look so real before it's just.
The texture might be more detailed, but the
Mhm.
general look will be the same, I think.
yeah.
It might, but the style will definitely stay the same. But I'd rather Alita, if to save costs, keep it the way it looks now, because it looks damn fine already as it is. I mean, you have a photoreal cyborg girl roaming around, and it's convincing. So,
Yeah, I would think that like Weta would, I don't know, have all those files stored on a computer
oh,
somewhere
they
too.
do. I just hope Disney. I wonder if Disney, though, how much of that if that belongs to them now or what. That's one of the things that worries me. If they own.
They don't make decisions
CGI
on
work.
that level of detail stuff. They make the big decisions, whether it's
True.
Peach
I
13
think it
or
would
R.
belong to Lightstorm because they
That's
made
true.
the movie.
That's true. They paid for it too.
But
They're based
I
in
mean,
Texas.
I will tell you one thing. I'm almost totally convinced of, like 99% positive, because everything's 99 with me at the moment. But for some reason, I don't know why.
Nice.
But I'm 99% positive that the only reason that final scene of Alita was in the movie was so that they could create that model for the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing happens with it. I mean,
Hmm.
sure, it's emotional, and she, does the tear cut, which is cool. Way better than what was in the original script, I've got to say, if you read the novelization. But she does the tear cut, she goes out, she points the sword, and it's over. And it's like, you spent all that money creating a completely new model, because I found out it was a completely new model from a Weta guy.
Mm-hmm.
You created this completely new model for like 3 minutes.
Not
And
even.
nothing happened, really. They did it so that they could use some of the budget from the first movie to make the second one cheaper.
Yep.
That's
Smart move too.
Mm.
That makes sense.
See,
And did they
have
have like an airborne shot of Zalem overlooking Iron City too?
Yeah.
they did.
Right,
I noticed that.
And I mean, that whole end bit, they threw the guy who played Nova for all of like 10 seconds, Ed Norton. They threw him in for the next movie.
Didn't even get a credit.
I mean, it's totally a primer for next.
Or Gelda. And Gelda's in there quite a bit.
The story of how he got involved with that. Do you guys know it?
Yeah, I saw that.
So he for those that don't know and are listening and don't know, it's very quick. Basically, he said, Cameron, I want to do something with you. And Cameron's like, yeah, sure, you can play somebody in Avatar. And he's like, I really would only want to play one of the blue guys. And Cameron said, damn it, they're all sort of already taken. Would you like to play human? He goes, nah, is there anything else? And Cameron says, oh, well, I've got Rodriguez doing Alita. Would you like to do something there? He said, oh, yeah, chuck me in. So he got chucked in for like 10 seconds.
Oh, my God. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, what a role to land in.
He liked the idea of the character so much. Obviously, he got to read some of the notes for the next part, that he agreed, because apparently he's a real character actor, and if he doesn't like the character, he won't play it. So he likes the character of Alita, and he wants of Nova in Alita, and he wants to play it in the next movie. So
I mean,
it's all set up.
Like, knowing what comes from Nova in the manga, it would be crazy to see what Norton could do with that role.
And he can do it. You watch Primal Fear, you know he can do it.
Right. Yeah, he has the range for sure. But
Edward Norton looked a little young, though, but it would have worked for the sequel, because Nova kind of looks a little older. I don't know, in the manga. At
I mean,
least,
they made Ito older.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they changed things, but that's fine.
Well,
But yeah, he fits it, I guess.
Remember that if Nova is anything like his manga character, he's immortal. Well, we're told he's immortal. So, and he can look at any age he wants, really.
True.
Thanks to his regeneration techniques. So
Well, he's only immortal until every one of them has body completely died.
Spoilers.
I actually think that Christoph Waltz may have worked better as Nova. And
Honestly, I've kind of thought that too, because
I think a little too young.
probably, but
I think Christoph Waltz will just do good in anything. I'm just such a fan. So like, Ito or Nova, I think would just kill it either way.
it's funny because I actually thought, I don't know how I fell for it, but in the beginning of the movie, when she's suspecting that he killed the woman in the alley, I kept thinking back to his other movies, like Inglourious Basterds. I'm like, did he really do it though? Because I know this guy's roles, and he tends to be kind of like this morally like twisted individual. Like, but nope, just friendly sitcom dad. So,
Christoph can turn his hand to anything. That guy.
oh yeah.
But they
He was
kind of
convincing as father figure who lost the daughter and thought he got her back again. It was convincing.
Just go into dad mode.
I feel like they
think,
dialed down the dad mode even. Like when you read the manga, I mean, Ito really gets into that father figure role where it's kind of like borderlines a different type of attraction. And I felt like they kind of scaled that down in the movie where it was just very strictly fatherly.
I think
a lot of people like that though.
They did. I think I did too. I think it's a smart move to do that because a lot of folks would have found it creepy, and it is.
That Japanese kind of creepy stuff might.
Yes, but when you think about what's happening right now in the West culturally,
Christian.
it would have. You think the critics hit it badly back then? Just imagine if they had done that. It would have been so much worse.
Oh my god, it would.
There's a lot of things they did that were
The
smart.
movie did better. There was that. There was Alita finding the body. Sorry, Star.
Shots fired.
Oh,
You'll be having the Phantom Menace destroying Alita
ouch.
if it reached something like that.
Oof.
There's a comment that Star has posted in our text chat for the call here, and it's Zephyr Jones, who's, if you have a look at our text chat, guys, Zephyr's making a lot of good commentary in the text chat alongside what we're talking about here. But the comment that Star has put up is, I think that they kept the budget to 100 million and get the same amount of support, it would be a smashing success. The only thing the critics had against it was the budget. Well, I'm a little bit in disagreement about that. Sure, they hammered on about the budget, but they basically didn't think it was woke enough, and so they made a big deal about Alita's body in the way it changed in the after she got embodied into the Berserker and all those sorts of things. They basically picked it apart without critiquing it properly. So
You're a woman, but you're not allowed to have boobs. Makes sense.
Yeah, apparently.
Or boob armor. Mandalorian. Cough, cough.
Yeah. Oh god, it's silly, isn't it?
Hey, if you can't have boob armor, then you can't make Superman all muscular and masculine.
I'm
right?
glad that
Have a
we've actually
bulge.
got. I can only speak from a martial artist perspective because I've taught and been taught by females, and one thing that they've all said the same is that when they get kicked in the chest, it freaking hurts. And I can only imagine if you're wearing a chest plate of armor and you're having your pectoral area being like compressed into your chest, if you didn't have the adequate space, that'd make it hard to breathe as well.
Well, basically, from a biological perspective, glands are glands, right? Testicles are glands, mammary glands are glands, and they all have more nervous connections than the average bit of muscle, right?
That's true.
So if you get kicked in the nuts, well, enough said, the guy goes down like a sack of shit. But getting hit in the chest, it's probably not as delicate as testicles, but it still would hurt a lot, just from a biological perspective.
Oh, yeah. And there's
So have some armor on it. End of story.
John, you know that YouTuber who analyzes like armor and stuff in movies?
Yes, Shadversity.
He said that there is something in the past that like they actually did make, and it was functional.
It makes
was
sense.
Very functional. I mean, it wasn't exaggerated like in the movies, but it was shown to be functional.
We all know why they don't like it.
Yeah, they don't, the sexualization. Yeah.
Sorry,
This conversation took an odd turn.
It was very, very an odd turn. I was like, oh. Okay.
Angelus, how do you know women that have been kicked in the chest?
I
Just
did
a
some
lot
martial
floating
arts.
around.
Okay.
And
Because-
women who are martial artists, you get kicked in the chest.
Oh,
End of
yeah.
story.
I've got thrown by a woman doing some hapkido, and ooh, it hurts.
It's funny.
Well, that
one of the
and my
Good.
that and my third Dan instructor is female, and she's basically maybe a couple of inches taller than Alita, and you know, you'd think that even as a black belt, I'd have an advantage against her, but like if she was to make it a fair fight, she has to go like 100% full on, and when she does that, you know, she can actually kick my ass, and I'm like nearly 6 feet, and yeah,
Well,
so to
about
sort
skill.
of, but because she's got a reach disadvantage, she has to get a little bit closer, and so I'm constantly trying to keep her away with my leg reach. Hence, why, you know, if she's not careful enough, less than 10% of the time, you know, everyone makes mistakes, and that's where I know that I've been the culprit myself. But like I said, I've taught, and you know, I've conversed with other females, and even refereed a few matches, and it's basically you have to wear a chest guard, you have to wear the groin guard, of course, and mission pads. So
It's funny because my mom had just been getting into. I think when I brought her to Alita because she got into martial arts. She got into Taekwondo, and I think was getting her yellow belt at the time when Alita came out. I don't remember what her belt is now. I feel bad forgetting, but that's how I lured her into it. I was like, "Hey, you're now into this. Can I drag you into this too?" She was like, "Fine." She had fun with it.
hey, John, I'll give you credit. That's a good segue there.
I mean, hey, there were actually a few other people that were there too who were into it also. They're like, "Oh, I love Alita."
Nice.
Yeah, my Aikido master did Aikido too. He knew Alita right away when I mentioned it. He's like, "Oh yeah, totally love it." So there's a subculture in martial arts that is definitely aware. That's why I was trying to reach out to Joe Rogan and didn't work out, but I'll keep trying sometime.
So when she's in the mirror, like doing the, I guess I don't know what it's called in martial arts terms, but what
Probably
martial
form.
arts was that
It was
inspired
modeled
by?
after Bruce Lee.
Oh,
I think it was
Okay.
a directly
Like-
copy from his style.
like kung fu or
Wing Chun.
Wing Chun?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was.
that
I
makes
mean,
a
I
lot of
know
sense.
Rosa said it was a mixture of things, obviously, but specifically that scene was from Bruce Lee.
Yeah, chain punching.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could say Panzerkunst, right? She's tapping into
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't in space, so.
Yeah, right.
Punched by
Just dragging
someone.
things back to the budget of a sequel for just a second. Zephyr was saying that 100 million with the same amount of support would get us over the line for a sequel. I'm not entirely convinced,
It's gonna be
mainly because if the locales change, they're going to have to build them.
Mhm.
But also, it's the sort of Hollywood one-upmanship of a sequel. It has to be bigger and better. Because that's what's expected by the viewing audience. That there'll be more and fancier and more stuff will happen. So I think that they're going to need roughly the same budget, like 150, to keep up that level of new and exciting. That's my
Hey
feeling
guys,
on it.
Vladdy is saying that Joe Rogan did follow the Alita movie on Instagram, so maybe I wonder if he did that right after.
Ooh.
Better. So he might bring it up on his podcast if the topic somehow connects.
Just bombard his live feed.
I don't go on Instagram. I guess he's more of an Instagram guy. Twitter, he just says, "Hey, go to my Instagram." Every time on Twitter, he says, "I post something on
This is
Instagram."
John Landau.
I hate Instagram.
Yeah, I think it's gonna cost probably exactly the same, 200 million to make the sequel. If they make a 2-hour movie, I hope it's more than 2 hours.
I'm more worried about story than I am the visuals. If they kept it looking the same, I'd be happy with it. That's me.
Okay, so John, you're saying you're not worried about the visual. So what if they make Alita a fat battle angel?
I'm not I'm not saying make it look like a potato, damn it. I'm saying
Okay.
if they kept it looking the same, that's fine with me. I'd rather not focus so much on the visuals as much as it is the screenwriting.
Are you saying make her cattle angel Alita?
Oh,
Oh,
Alita
I'm
Thick
sorry.
Angel.
oh my. Oh
maybe they'll
no.
replace Roosevelt.
Isn't Staravellian a fan of Chunky
Alita.
Lita?
Think
Whoa.
Thick Lita.
Make
Yeah.
Alita. Hmm.
Yeah, I think in the sequel, I mean, in terms of, I guess, big name actors, I mean, Mahershala Ali is not going to be there. What's her name? Jennifer Connelly's not going to be there. I mean, they're
I think
dead.
she might.
So,
I think
really?
they're gonna play with that. Yes.
So
they, they didn't kill her off. She's technically still alive in some way.
So they would probably save money on, I guess, actors' salaries. That's the only.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to use her as a motivation for Alita to go to Zalem.
As long as it's not
I think
Hugo.
No, Hugo, I think they'll keep dead, but she might come back.
Please.
I mean, you got to get somebody as Shumira at this point. So, like, you don't have to get a high budget name as, someone as Shumira. You could go a little bit lower and save cost.
Yeah, I don't see how they would.
They might already have those contracts already laid out. They probably already decided on that. They're just waiting for the green light.
Maybe. All we can do is guess at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep our eyes open. I'm going to be keeping my eyeballs out there for the Disney Plus announcement if that happens. Or April, as you said.
Yeah. I unsubscribe for now just to punish Disney a little bit.
Punish them with your $9.95.
Hey, it saves me money.
Damn, what's it cost for you lot?
How much do you pay for? Well, your money's worth more than ours.
It's like $6.99, I think, here, isn't it?
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap actually.
All things considered.
But there's different levels of it. Like I think Disney plus 18. Well, I'm not sure that's come out yet, but I think you have to pay more for that.
You know what's funny though?
I was telling Nick the other day that if you want to buy a house in Sydney and the median house price is 1.1 million, and he was like, "What?"
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Enigma, is that I remember when he came down here. I don't know if I told you that he came back down here.
Yeah, I've seen him twice.
Was it after? I can't. It was Christmas, and then there was afterwards. But he went check out that final Mandalorian episode, and I was like, okay. I was on the anti-Disney buying thing for a while there, and I was pretty consistent. I was like, fine, fuck it, I'll do it. And I've not watched it since. It's just been sitting there. I still haven't touched it.
Like
they brought back Luke.
Probably, like I would say, it's probably the biggest streaming platform. I mean, as far as just content like that goes, it's one of the biggest. And like I know there are competition like Netflix and Hulu, and of course YouTube.
I think Netflix is still bigger.
Yeah, Netflix is there.
Netflix is always pooping something out. It's crazy.
Yeah. And this year they have like a movie a week or something like that.
Isn't Netflix like the biggest movie producer in the world at the moment?
They are. I think they nearly went bankrupt because of it. I think.
Yeah. But I mean, just the exposure that Alita would get, even if they put a tiny bit of marketing into announcing that it would come into that platform, like just massive.
But then do Hulu. That's what Disney's going to do.
Then you're looking at Disney wanting to hang on to the IPs. They wouldn't let it on Netflix.
I know and they know that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Unless they did some sort of deal like HBO does, where it's Disney Plus in North America and everywhere else it's Netflix or something like that.
Most of the stuff that I've seen, I mean, most of the stuff that's on Disney Plus, based off what I saw, which I didn't go looking that deep, but a lot of it's stuff that people either already own on VHS or DVD. Or it's some of the more newer releases. I think the max that I watched on there was Avatar, and I wasted like 10 minutes on Lion King and gave up. But
I didn't get through Lion King either, actually.
Oh God, it's just
I got halfway.
It's completely dead. There's no soul behind it at all. It's pretty, but that's it.
It's not really live action if you think about it.
No,
even the scenery, the landscape's not real.
There is one scene in the very intro that they actually did use real scenery. That was it.
Oh. They actually shot it in Africa?
I guess so. That's what they said.
They have to have a
For one
basis
scene.
for it somewhere.
Right. But there's not really a whole lot on there in terms of new. I mean, yeah, they dropped the MCU and all, but and WandaVision now. But
I
that's
don't care about
besides
Wanda.
that Mandalorian. That's really it. I mean,
That's so funny because people say cancel Disney, but they already did because Mandalorian's done
yeah.
until next season, and everybody
I hope
subscribes
it's
again.
not done because it's actually good storytelling.
No, I'm saying like people are unsubscribing just because they've already finished watching The Mandalorian.
Mhm.
A lot of
Oh,
people
yeah,
just
I
do it.
get
That's what
what
I'm
you mean,
doing. I mean,
You mean
Yeah.
done as in the season is done, not the entire
yeah.
show is
So
done.
a
Right.
good chunk of people just probably
When you're buying Disney Plus,
unsubscribe.
you're buying Mandalorian. I think
Yeah,
that's the
what I'm
general
doing.
idea for most folks. Yeah.
I think WandaVision's getting a little bit of traction.
True.
And like you bounce back and forth between the Marvel and Star Wars sides of it. Really, I think that's
Mhm.
like the big draws
Yeah,
of
Marvel
it.
and Star
Of course, Soul was massive too from Pixar that they just put right out to it. But I think that's
And,
kind
Yeah.
of
and those
Soul.
people
I like
that
Soul.
just sign up so they've got something for their kids to watch because it's Disney.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not touching Soul with a 10-foot pole. I can't.
I think
It was actually kind of good. It was
I
kind of
have some
emotional.
I got some pretty unpopular opinions about that movie. I've not seen it, but I've gathered quite a bit from some folks that there's, well, this isn't the platform for that, but
They got some things on the theology a little wrong, but that's okay. I mean, they're just being general.
So,
I
guys, we had this main topic that we were going to try to get to
sorry.
today.
And we had this host that was meant to host.
Yeah. No, look, the discussion has been awesome. When we get new people in and people who don't come on very often, like Enigma, you get discussion, and it's great. That's what we need. I feel like, although we haven't really touched on the main topic directly, all of this is related to the main topic because we are keeping Alita current. Would
Yep.
you have imagined that 2 years after the cinematic release of this little interesting movie that we all happen to like, that we could be talking for 2 hours like this about all these sorts of things and tying it all back to the movie, and just nobody's got bored. Everybody's been animated. People have been jumping in with really sharp comments. The text chat has been going off.
I know.
So, I mean, this is what the AlitaArmy is about. People come together. They're interested. They're friendly. We're having this great discussion. We haven't even got to the main topic officially, but this is part of the main topic. This is the AlitaArmy. This is the anniversary of what we love. So I
what's the
feel
main
like we
topic?
have been touching on it.
What's the main topic? Alita?
Boy.
Funny you should ask. The second Alita anniversary. So in Australia, it is actually the day. So today is Valentine's Day. I'm actually taking my wife and my son, because I don't have a babysitter, out to lunch after this for a seafood lunch and go to the beach and stuff like that, because Australia.
Ooh.
But yeah, we're not buried, neck deep in snow, which is nice. But second Alita anniversary on Valentine's Day in 2019. This is when our favorite movie dropped. Well, most of you guys is a favorite movie. I won't speak for all of you, but obviously you like it enough to be here, so that's enough for me. But how did 2 years go past so quickly? Admittedly, 2020 was like 20 years long, but it does feel like the last 2 years has gone really fast. Did anybody else find that 2 years just zoomed by?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah, because I spent most of it, locked up in home at the moment because of the whole
And how
pandemic.
many times did you watch Alita while you were stuck there?
Well, during the lockdown, probably about 3 times a week.
Is that all?
That's I thought it was on the re-release.
That's a strong point. Like, I didn't think of lockdown having like so many people having so much more time to just kind of rewatch the movie, but that definitely happened to me too.
I might watch it tomorrow.
To be fair, I did watch like other movies as well. Like the first example that comes into my head is that I was bored one night and I asked the AlitaArmy on Twitter and Discord and other mediums, like, I wanted to watch a horror movie, and Maxi comes in with a suggestion of Event Horizon. So I'm like, yep, load that up, watched it, and I loved it. And I discovered new movies, like from all around the world, from all other different genres. and like I'd literally just throw in Alita viewings in between each one, so that way I wouldn't get burnt out from either one. And I'd probably, to be fair, I'd probably have to watch Alita about 30 times before I start to think, oh, maybe I should just watch something else just to sort of be fair to the rest of the industry. But
I hate to say this, I'm starting to get sick of watching Alita a little bit. Only watch on special days, like
Take a break.
re-release or.
How dare you?
But it's like the old saying, you never know what you have until it's gone, sort of thing. And when you stop watching Alita and then all of a sudden you jump on Twitter and you see the Alita pick of the day and the GIF of the day and you see new fans coming in, it's just, it's like, all right, enough of this, I want to watch the movie again. And that's just basically my cycle when I was on lockdown. Because obviously I wasn't doing anything else.
Has anybody noticed Cranjan flexing her merch in text chat? Flex. I'm gonna watch the Black Barons box set.
No, I'm not, because it's still sealed. It's still in a box sealed. I haven't opened it.
So you got to do the film, the opening of the box before you can actually watch it.
Yeah, one day. My Hot Toys is still sealed.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. I'm like the worst procrastinator on opening things.
I already ruined the pants. Oh my god. I pulled. I don't know if I just pulled them on there too tight or what. But you know how in the movie she's got those little lines, that little pattern on the legs, on the leather cat suit outfit pants. I don't know why, but I don't know if I just stretched it out too much or what, but that pattern is damn near gone on one of the legs. And I looked down, I was like, wait a minute. And ever since then, it's like, no, OCD. I can't deal with it.
Well, you need to speak to Vladdy about where to buy an iron that's only about, half an inch long, so you can actually iron those creases back in.
He'd probably know where to find one.
That's right.
Hey guys, I got to drop, but it was great talking to you all. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
No worries, man. John, just before you go, I got one question for you. Are you doing anything or planning anything Alita related, in the near future?
Not anytime soon. One thing I was thinking of doing was, and I'm not skilled in this, but one thing I was thinking of doing was putting together a compilation of reactions to Alita.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because there have been a lot of good reactions. So what I was thinking of doing was putting it into like 1 2-minute video.
Is this like people's videoed reactions or the
yeah. So movie reviews, reaction videos, compilations from reactions to watching Alita.
Well, Alita gives you reason to learn new skills, so have at it, man.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
looking forward to it. So, have you got a YouTube channel?
I do, but it's only on. I have one video reviewing Bitcoin, so that's all I got.
Good luck with Bitcoin.
Well, create some Alita content and then let us know, and we'll put you on the channels tab in the AlitaArmy channel.
Okay, will do.
But the requirement is definitely some Alita content, all right?
Okay.
Check out some of my videos.
I'll do that too.
Enigma will give you plenty of ideas.
All right, thanks, guys.
No worries. Thanks for joining us.
Nice.
Yes. So we've been at this for well over 2 hours now. So might try and hit some points for the main topic, and then we'll probably be headed towards the wrap up at that stage. As I said, I think that our conversation kind of showcases that the second Alita anniversary, the AlitaArmy is strong. There's always stuff to talk about with this, and that the AlitaArmy is a thoughtful bunch. I don't think that there'd be a lot of other fandoms that think this hard about the movie, the source, the situation, other related movies, how it all ties together, how we can get the word out. I think this is like, I know Snyder Cut's pretty damn motivated. They're getting what they wanted though now, so they're just sort of reveling in it. But I think at this point, for a movie-related fandom, we're probably the most motivated on the internet. I
Yeah.
don't think that's too much of a
Oh,
stretch.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is an underdog movie. It needs the help.
Yeah.
I think DC has enough money.
Yeah.
Oh, plenty. Considering they're
So,
getting a 4-hour movie.
So basically what I'm saying is, guys, it's the 2nd anniversary. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. Big thumbs up.
Right, that's kind of like the heart of what the 2nd anniversary celebration really is, right? The fandom that keeps celebrating it and keeping it relevant, keeping it alive, and like what a great fandom to be a part of. Really, the 2nd anniversary could be a great celebration of what it's created, and like it's just really exciting to even find 2 years after and get so engaged in that. There's so many people creating new content, all the new videos and fan art and articles and live streams. I think you really don't find that in other fandoms that are so heavily positive and so engaging and thought provoking and just super cool.
Most fandoms are
Points at Enigma, points at stuff.
yeah. Most fandoms that I've been a part of for quite a while, and even some newer ones, are either mostly a lot of stuff I see is just spam, at least in the groups, or it's being divided. I mean, there's
art spam.
2 different fandoms that I'm like part of. One in particular that I'm not going to name because I don't. Well, it's just not worth getting into. But one of which became more prevalent last year. That's just completely split down the middle now, and it's.
I think we can
sad
bring
to
them
see.
back. I think we can bring them back if we get some news. We need to find some ideas. Another poster, like, or if we get SpaceX somehow connected, I don't know. But for example, like let's say if someone lives in Tennessee and that's the headquarters in Chattanooga for Regal, go to Regal's headquarters and send a letter of request. Hey, could you do a re-release when you open up again? They just might consider it. If you go in person, a formal letter, corporates love that stuff. They think, oh wow, they actually think we're important. So if little local things you could do, whether it's a Comic-Con thing in your local town.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also kind of taps
did.
into the AlitaArmy having value, and it's not just the value of the IP. I know Max Sack talked about this a little bit with the journalism websites, that there's an undeniable boost that you get just from the fandom that surrounds, that's inherently part of the AlitaArmy, and it's kind of showing that value. And I think just the fact that everybody's here celebrating the 2nd anniversary also taps into that increased value surrounding just the AlitaArmy as a fandom.
Yeah, I'd like to say one thing about journalism while we're on the point, and that is a lot of people it's all about your context as to whether or not you can do something in a sphere of influence. So you look at journalism and you go, okay, why would any of these news sites give a crap about us or a little fandom? You can pocket yourself into something that's not worth mentioning, and if you become that, then that's all you will ever be. But journalism sites need content. They are always searching for content. The perfect example is Looper taking a Comic Watch article and writing an article about the article.
Yeah. They're literally running out of content.
They need content.
YouTubers do that too.
With people they think will give them clicks, will give their advertisers something. It's all about give and take. And what we need to think about is what we can give to them that they will want to take and snowball for us.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly it, really, because not to be too shady, but Looper isn't doing the original journalism that would, bring to light something like our interview did here at Comic Watch. And I think, what we're doing is shining a light on something that is obviously worthwhile, that you can tell from Looper pretty much taking the article and making one of their own. And I was thankful that they backlinked us at least, but it's pretty cool to see how that snowballs and what impact we can have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, reaching out to the right people helps.
Yep.
Gotta be strategic.
And don't take the first no. Always be polite, but don't take the first no.
Yeah.
People often say no to see if you're serious. So if someone says no, go, okay, that approach didn't work. Find another approach. And like Enigma said, the approach can be outside the box. If you live near the headquarters of something, go to the frickin' headquarters. The fact that you made the effort to go there and you say, okay, I can give you all of these tweets and all of these things saying that all of this stuff is interesting. You can make a personal appeal, like Enigma did, giving his only steelbook to give to the corporate head of Cinemark and saying, "Please watch this."
They were just 3 minutes away from where I work. A 3-minute drive.
It's all this personal. I mean, it might seem like huge corporate juggernauts, but there's all people in there. And it's like I keep telling people when they say, "Oh, I could never be on a stream with Rosa Salazar. I could never be on a stream with so-and-so because it'd be too daunting." It's like, they're people. Everything that looks big is just a bunch of people like you and me. They have all the same insecurities. They have all the same questions. They're all struggling with something. Be personable.
They have interests. Like, you got to find out what their interest is. Like,
or you need to turn what you're interested in into something they're interested in.
Yeah.
Like elevator pitch, all of these things. And it's not just in the Alita fandom, it's in life. In life, you've got to turn the person's interest, your interest, into the person's interest and get them on board. And that's kind of what we've done with Nick here. He's realized that, wow, this is a great fandom. I'll have a look and see what it's like. And he's got involved. He's gone, shit, I'm enjoying this. I'm going to be part of it. And that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other things oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that's exactly what happened. And I think that's exactly the appeal of the AlitaArmy and why I'm betting that things are kind of just getting started here at the 2nd anniversary. I think there's so much life ahead because of what it offers into fandom and how popularized that has become in mainstream media, that it's just so much untapped potential.
And the creators know it.
Another good strategy to think about.
Every day, there's always someone out there going, "Oh my God, I just watched this movie. Why did I sleep on it for so long?" Or 100 different variations of that statement.
Same
and
thing.
They hook up. They finally get on board and realize what we've known for a couple of years in some cases, or a couple of decades in other cases. With and it builds, it grows. The snowball is getting bigger, to use an analogy from what you guys are going through in the US at the moment. But the snowball is rolling downhill and is getting bigger, and eventually it will hit the town. The town is Hollywood.
If we keep it up, yeah.
The only time we lose is if we quit.
It's always kind of funny to me whenever I see one of those tweets and they say, it's like, "Why didn't anyone ever tell me how good Alita was?" I'm like, where have we been this whole time?
Exactly. What the fuck are we?
We've been trying to tell you. You're living under a rock.
A good strategy to do for like AlitaArmy, just a general Alita fans, is super chats to key YouTubers. Like I did to Amazing Lucas, and then he started talking about Alita. I gave him one search and hey, see the movie Alita, and he did a review. Of course, it's related to Captain Marvel and all that, but still, it helped. And find YouTubers live streams, give them a $5 chat, say, "Hey, have you seen Alita Battle Angel?" If it's related to what they're talking about, like sci-fi or whatever the context is. So that's a good strategy because you get literally hundreds, if not thousands of people might be watching that or looking at that.
It all adds up one way or another.
It makes them curious.
It all ties back in.
You have to spend money.
Make your context important to them and get them involved. And it's not like nefarious or anything. It's just sharing what we already know in a way that they can take on board. That's basically
appeal to their self-interest.
Exactly. And a wild Creaky has entered the chat. G'day, Creaky.
Hey, Hoka, hey, and good anniversary or great anniversary, AlitaArmy. Or happy.
Yeah. Sorry I couldn't jump in last night.
How did your road trip go, Creaky?
Yeah. What's that?
How'd your road trip go?
Oh, pretty good. I tried to get in on my phone and I couldn't get in. So, but I'm here now. So that's it.
Excellent.
I was going to jump in your stream last night, but I was still working on my video. It was 41 minutes long. So.
Oh, yeah. No problem, Enigma.
Next time
that happens a lot. Jaya is often saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah, actually, I need to do some more videos. I haven't done one for a little while, so.
I have to record my fanfic as an audio so I can get Enigma to listen to it.
Yeah. This one doesn't like reading.
I will listen. That
know,
doesn't reader.
Actually, a mate of mine this is completely unrelated to Alita, really, but well, it's not really because he's seen it 6 times and he's one of my main readers for the beta readers. But he's got some new filters and stuff to improve your voice sound and all that sort of thing for like a reading. So hopefully that will break the deadlock and I'll be able to do that. But yeah, that sort of ties into what I'm sort of want to do before we wrap up. Not that I'm saying we're wrapping up right now, but what I want to get from all of you is a feeling of what you're up to Alita related, and what you can bring and what you can motivate other people who might be listening now or to the recording later on for the next year. What they can be doing, and give them some ideas of what they can be doing to keep Alita current, to keep things new and exciting and happening within the fandom. Because a fandom that stagnates is a fandom that's not going to achieve anything. We can't afford to stagnate. We've got to keep doing new and fun things and keep excited. I mean, this stream, we're just all so excited, which is great. 2 years out. Who would have thought? But what I actually want to know is what all you guys might be, like I asked Johnny before he left, what you thinking about doing in the next year, or what you might be actually doing right now towards the fandom and things to do with Alita that people might be interested in. So I'm just going to work down from what I can see on my chat window. So John Lutz, you're sort of next to me in the chat window where I'm sitting. So are you planning anything?
I've not really put a whole lot of thought into it just yet. There's so many things already going on for me right now that Elite is kind of. I'm still here, obviously, and I'm going to throw an input when it comes, but I've not made anything concrete as of right now because everything is so up in the air.
Weren't you thinking about learning how to YouTube video produce and do some stuff about the manga? We're going to go through
it's funny because I can't remember who brought it up. Maybe it was Jaya. I can't remember. Someone. I think it was on the stream I was on with Greek last time, but mentioned something about one. Oh no, it was Yoko Kunstler. Jeff. He had said something about wanting to do that, so maybe that could be an opportunity. I remember it last time. Thought about doing that with the main channel, but it kind of y'all had concerns about copyrights, and that's pretty fair observation.
I'm not ask me about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just kind of one of those things. There's a lot of things going on right now that I don't have a whole lot of control over, but.
Gotta focus on real life.
It's just, and that's been kind of,
But if you find an opportunity, seize upon it. Like,
absolutely.
That SpaceX thing. Like, if I just say, oh, okay, it's 8 hours to drive to. Now that I'm laid off, I mean, I did lose my job, but it's okay, I'm good. But I now have time to actually go see a SpaceX launch. And if I see Elon there, I'll definitely bring a letter just in case. If I run into him, and then, say, hey, have you seen Alita? Check this out. Like, I don't know.
I think what I'm gonna do is, if that happens, I might even go down there and see it with you if I can, depending on,
I might do a practice run just to see how, because I don't know where I can get my car, put my car down there and all that, figure out.
Yeah, you want to keep,
I'll do it
I
once,
think you have to keep a
next
certain distance. I think you have to keep a certain distance from it too, because those suckers are loud.
I might be moving away from Texas, so this is the time for me to try to figure out something to support Alita if I can.
So, John, your takeaway would be do something local if you've got something nearby.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Or more when people, the thing I've been kind of doing is, and I've said it before, when AlitaArmy moves, I move. It's one of those things where I've not really been all that creative lately, if I'm being honest, but it's, I try to keep it with what y'all are doing. And jump in on that as much as I can.
I believe that I'm correct in saying that the original idea for the re-release you brought up in May last year. So that for the second year of the AlitaArmy, that was your major contribution. I think it really,
I pushed it too hard, but it was one of those things where the timing wasn't right.
It's like I said, you come up with a good idea, you float it. It might sink the first time round, but you refloat it.
Right.
You don't take the first no.
My timing wasn't good, and my presentation wasn't good. But I know you can't just go off a gut feeling of what someone says, because we've had people go in there and be like, "I'm going to try to what was it? I'm guys, there's one film in particular. He was like, I want to try to start up a GoFundMe to fund the sequel. I'm thinking, dude, I hate to break it to you, but but I'm not.
There's cheaper ways.
Right. There's other ways to do it, and I just after seeing them respond the way or saying, "Hey, what would you like to see back?" I was like, "Okay, we can push this," and I probably overly aggressive with it, but regardless of when it came out, we got
man
it.
in the world now.
Second,
Isn't Elon the richest man in the world now? Wouldn't 250 million be like pocket change to him?
Yo, just some pocket change, man.
Get it out from under the sofa.
Well, his rockets don't look like a dick, so that's good. Jeff Bezos.
Yet. As much as a shit poster as Elon is, it wouldn't surprise me if he did something like that. It really wouldn't.
Well, I think Elon's so far out of the mold that we might be able to convince him one day to fund an Alita sequel. Just to get him on the right day when he's feeling generous.
I think Enigma's actually on the right track with this. I don't know how many of y'all watched this video already. He's pretty damn thorough on it, and I think I don't know. I have no way of knowing if it would work, given how big this kind of stuff is, or how big
Just saying.
It's one of those things where it's a shot in the dark, but you never know. We also some of the stuff that Cinemark wouldn't even respond, but they did, and that's what mattered.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Everyday Astronaut, and he was talking about the Dragon capsule computers. I mean, they're a computer, so I don't see how they could uplink a video. I think it's physically possible. It's just a matter of persuasion and safety issues, maybe, and downtime. I don't know. So, I mean, that's where we have to reach out to very specific people, and I think that Jared Isaacman, he's the guy to reach out to.
Well, as long as everybody, I guess it depends on how you address these people, but not spamming them, obviously. But I think it could work out.
Yeah, specifically the AlitaArmy Twitter needs to reach out, because that looks more like an organizational account and not just someone's personal account. Yeah. And that would persuade him to say, okay, who's this random person? Is this why are you bugging me about some movie?
And I think your method with the Cinemark thing worked as well as it did, because in person, like all these people, they'll get these emails.
Your idea.
I know, but you literally took it from the ground level and ran with it, and it worked. I think it had a lot more impact than you may think, actually, because I went down to my theater, and half the people in there didn't even know what the fuck I was talking about. They looked at me like I was crazy. Okay, I couldn't even get the manager in there, but he's almost never there anyway, so it's like, whatever.
It's about getting the ball rolling, just taking it back to basics. Getting the ball rolling is super important, and a lot of people are afraid to step out. I know you're not an Enigma; you've got balls of steel, man. But people are often afraid to stick their hand up, suggest something, go and try something. But that is, and I think paring back all the problems America has had in the last year or so. The great thing about America is that Americans in general aren't afraid to try something. Just as a real generalization on America,
you just got to get them moving.
Country tries things.
It's about finding an opportunity.
Finding an opportunity, and it's the capitalism thing, which has a lot of negativity, but there are some positive points. Yeah. People who are in a capitalist society have the freedom to go out and try things, and they'll fail. A lot of them will fail, but some of them will succeed. And that's what the AlitaArmy has to do. It has to be unafraid to try things to get the sequel.
Yeah, and like the banner. That was a great idea.
It's a numbers game. The more you try, the more successes there will be. So if you have an idea, float it around the army, get some feedback on it. If it doesn't sink immediately, try it. As long as it's not going to, like we always say to the AlitaArmy, promote Alita, but do it in a way that doesn't ruin someone else's day. Okay, so don't set something on fire to try and get people to watch Alita. That's not going to work. But promote Alita positively and genuinely, and I think you'll find you get somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what I tried to do with Comic Watch. I had the idea of what could I do to bring the AlitaArmy into our audience? And I just started messaging people, and eventually somebody in the AlitaArmy got me in touch with MaxStack, and it kind of started rolling from there. And then after the first article, you've got a Looper article that comes out that everybody's sharing, and that's the name of the game.
Yeah,
Um,
starts with chain reaction.
And Jealous has also pointed out to me that some of the Comic Watch crew are watching the stream. So there you go. I mean, any connection that you make can generate more connections.
Exactly.
Holy shit! What a stream.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Had to say
we're celebrating Alita, but at the same time, we're working on our method for the next year. And that's important. We've always got to be looking forward. We can't just look back at our achievements. They were great. I mean, some of the shit that we've done, people are still wowed over, like flying a banner over the Oscars. No one has done that. That is, something special that we did. And thank you to all the guys who were involved in that. That was great, but we can't rest on our laurels. We've got to keep moving forward, and it's hard to come up with something new.
It is,
which is why I'm engaging every single member of the Army who hears my voice today, and in the future from the recording. Think about it. Don't say, "Oh, somebody else will do that." You're all part of the fandom. You all want a sequel. Do something. At least think about it. Float ideas. See if they stay afloat, and if they do, then move on them. And that is when we'll get our sequel. The only time we lose is if we give up and stop. All right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. I was kind of leaving it to the end, but then, we might have drop-off, so sooner's probably better than later. Do you want to cover that, Star? Star. Fair enough. Well, the whole trending thing has been, problematic because of what was happening around the election. We don't know if that suppression of artificial trending has stopped or not. There was also some questions about sudden spikes being suppressed, whereas naturally sort of growing trends. I mean, if you sort of look at it in a sort of graphical
Art
format,
looks like spam sometimes.
Yeah, well, if you look at it in a graphical format, we tell people start at this time. Globally, everybody starts at the same time, and that creates a massive spike. Massive spike. Artificial.
They can't hear Star.
What the trend should do is grow organically, so it should start low and start growing up. So we tell people don't use it till the trending hour, and then use it like crazy. So what sort of, rather than try and trend with a peak right at the very beginning, everybody just post during the day. Doesn't matter. Like it's 4 a.m. It's supposed to start at 4 a.m. where I am. Ain't gonna happen. I won't be getting up at 4 a.m. to start posting. I could put a couple of posts in as in TweetDeck, and I might do that, but I won't really get posting until after I've got the family off.
It really helps if you tag certain people you think that might retweet. I mean, try at least like 3 people. But those tags make the biggest difference. If it only takes one, and most of the time you might not get that, but
that's what we did by tagging the cinemas. That's actually what got us.
They might be too big. I think there's like certain small YouTubers might help get the ball rolling. If you just tag like Disney, they're not gonna care. There's no way that they're gonna see that. There's just too many.
Well, do you actually have a list of people that might be worth tagging?
Well,
Enigma?
whoever
you can tweet that out, that would be good.
Yeah, well, I mean, Clownfish TV, I would tag them because I have reached out to them before. Maybe, I guess Mason Lucas is not on Twitter anymore. But,
they did some news on the Alita release, actually, back when that happened.
Yeah, there's probably certain people, certain YouTubers, I think.
Comic Watch that I consider tagging.
Yeah.
They might on it.
Cinema Blend, tag them.
For sure. Yeah, Cinema Blend.
So, I'm sure we can try to think of others.
But I think Cinema Blend would retweet all of it anyway. Certainly,
maybe Robert Rodriguez has a higher chance of seeing it than James Cameron. I think
he does. I've noticed something about Rodriguez that he does actually seem to pay more attention than you may think.
I think
put quite a bit into fan art and stuff. Yeah.
If you're talking about the rocket art, definitely tag Muskie Boy.
Yeah. Or
Never know.
or maybe certain SpaceX YouTubers. Maybe that could help.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Everyday
I'll
astronaut,
put some out
Boca
tomorrow.
Chica Gal, those
Yeah.
guys might
What
be
about
interesting.
it? That guy. Yeah.
Nick, you look like you wanted to say something.
I think that's kind of all like exactly what we should be doing is just feeling out new ideas that can work and possibly not work. And I think it's just super exciting to be a part of, really. There's so many things that can be done still. Just good ideas all around.
We brainstorm here, we brainstorm in DMs, we brainstorm everywhere.
For 2 years.
Important.
Yeah. And we're not going to stop. We get a green light announcement, then we switch into promotion overdrive.
Berserker mode.
Oh God! If and when that happens, it's gonna get so loud.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be get drunk mode is what it's gonna be.
Oh, one thing you guys could do.
I don't want to hear an if. It's when.
Mhm.
There is no if.
Maybe I didn't realize this, but you can actually contact like Joe Rogan, his team on the main webpage, which not many people actually use. So like you just put in a request, just like, hey, would you check out the movie Alita? It's very sci-fi, very futuristic. Could be a topic to bring up, something very
martial
simple.
arts.
And I didn't realize that, so I did that, and if enough people do that, he might remember and say, "Oh, bring it up," and that would make a big difference. That's a million people right there.
The word trending is used a lot in on Twitter.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be on Twitter. Yeah, it doesn't have to be on Twitter.
Trending is more than Twitter. Trends have been important since the year dot. Since any large corporation had to work out whether they should try and sell something and make something or not, they've had to look at trends in the marketplace. Trends are hugely important and should never be underestimated. If you can produce a trend like the perfect example that Enigma's talking about with Joe Rogan, if 30, 40, 50, 100 of us all post the same thing to Joe Rogan, that's a trend. We have created a trend, and he will go, there's a lot of interest in that. I will do that.
Yeah, I think that could be something we could plan in the future, maybe. I think we did that with Disney Plus one time. I think I announced it, or John did, and we all went on Disney Plus and say, hey, where's Alita? And,
I think I do remember that. Wasn't that the section where you're recommending the movie to be put on there? I forgot about that.
Yeah, right next to Avatar, yeah.
I did forget about that. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Avatar's on there. Why can't they have Alita on there? Should be right next to it.
Well, that's what Johnny Boy is going to be doing. Tick in the box. Got something to do
like
now.
instead of being angry at Disney Plus before you unsubscribe because of Gina, make sure you say the reason is actually for Alita. You didn't have Alita on there.
I think, I don't blame anyone for being upset about the situation, which I don't know if this is the place to talk about it, but I know a lot of people are wanting to jump ship right now, and understandably so, but I think it's one of those things. Just see how the next few weeks or however long goes, because you never know. I mean, I think this might bite some people in the butt more than you may think.
I mean, if we all jump off now and then they put Alita on there, then we'll jump back on,
Well, I'm an investor in Disney, and I wrote them a letter about a week ago. So hopefully they'll listen to me.
Ooh.
Well, the thing I hope is that there is a noticeable uptick in subscriptions the week that Alita goes on there. That would be super positive.
Mm-hmm.
So just bringing things back around to the Alita Day on Twitter for a moment. So, as I described in the articles that and things that I've written for Comic Watch, the AlitaArmy doesn't have a leader that says this is what we're doing, because I personally don't feel that fandoms should have one person deciding what's done, because it's not a corporation. It's a group of people who love something and want to promote it, and therefore it should work more organically. And we do. It's organized chaos, which is part of the stream. But the upshot is that there are people in the army, as Star said, who would love to trend. And if anybody's interested in doing that trending, then please have a look at. Now, he's not calling himself Foxfire at the moment. What's he changed his name to this week?
I just want my Alita sequel.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so
So look up
Fox.
I Just Want My Alita sequel,
That's a
which I think
mouthful.
is still Foxfire with the numbers after it. And he's got posters there about when to start. Don't feel pressured into starting right at that time. If you start a little bit later, everything is good. Because as I said, we probably don't want a huge peak right at the beginning because it looks artificial and they may axe it. But if we can grow organically to peak several hours after the start, that would probably stick. So those who are keen on trending and think that's the way forward, please consider doing it like that. Don't put all your tweets in on that first hour. Just sort of let it.
Yeah, there's a chance they could see that as spam. Yeah.
And those people who don't want to trend, it's all good. Just tweet on Valentine's Day, whenever it is in your part of the world. Use the hashtag Alita Anniversary and talk about how much you love Alita and recommend that other people watch it.
Oh, so happy!
That is the upshot for
Rogan.
For that part of Alita Anniversary.
There's also something else I wanted to mention. I don't know if you wanted me to announce it yet, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm looking at it and it damn near made a tear come out of my eyeball. Keep an eye out for, well, he's changed his name since, but Installation 7 is changed channel name to Splashbang. Keep an eye out for a video that may be dropping soon. I've only seen a little bit of this, and I don't want to say what it's about, but it's perfect timing for what's happening, and I think y'all are going to love this. Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I've got his channel subbed, so hopefully I'll get a message.
Yeah, get some napkins or some tissues.
YouTube does some weird things.
Emotional one?
Yeah, oh yeah.
For a while, it doesn't always show it to you, so you may have to go searching for it.
Yeah.
Do you know when it's supposed to drop?
No idea. I'm guessing probably tomorrow.
Set it as a premiere because if you've got the bell icon for the channel up, you always get notifications of premieres.
Part of the problem is that his for a little while there he stopped making Alita videos, and actually I think videos in general, and YouTube, the whole algorithm just got screwed over for him, and so
he's in text chat, John. Splashbang's in text chat.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
it kind of hit him. So if y'all can give Dude a little bit of a bump, I think that would be. I think he'd appreciate that.
Pushing that like button and commenting really kicks the algorithm. It does affect it.
Oh, he is in the text chat.
Yeah.
Hey. Sorry if I spilled the beans. I didn't spoil anything. I promise. But damn, you gotta.
Angelus has dropped a tweet for Foxfire's post about the attempted Twitter trend. So if Star wants to grab that and show that at some point while we're talking, that'd be great. There's Splashbang's channel. So it's dropping tomorrow, apparently. So on Valentine's Day in the US. That will be when you should have a look at Splashbang's channel and give him lots of likes. And if you haven't already subscribed, because there's no limit to the number of channels you can subscribe to. So subscribe to all the Alita ones. Anybody who's doing Alita content, give them a subscription. It's worth it.
Yeah, he's been in here, I think, since the beginning, like right off the start, back when the movie came out. It's been a long time.
I thought that Splashbang might have been Dean Siamese twin because he kind of disappeared about the same time. I hadn't heard anything from him.
Yes. Yeah, the last time we were doing the Halo playthroughs and disappeared.
Yeah. It's good to have you back, Splashbang. Looking forward to it. I'll be checking it out tomorrow.
And by the way, too, when you do that subscription, also turn on that notification bell. That's important too.
Yeah. Because if he does a premiere, you've got the notification bell activated, then you will get a notification of it for sure. That's what the premiere thing's good for if you're new to YouTube. So I think you kind of jumped in and covered what you were planning to do, Enigma. Do you have anything else planned for the rest of the year or for the next year?
I think I'm probably not going to be in Texas too long unless I get a job down here again. I'm trying to get back to the Midwest. That's just where I have friends and family. So I'm going to try to go to a Starship launch now that I have time, and I'm going to try to figure out if I can figure out when Elon is actually down there, because some people can actually go up to him. Sometimes he's outside and meets with people. So I'll look into that and see.
Let
what's
me
up.
know, by the way, when that is. If it is, I mean, I don't catch a lot of this stuff. There's just so much of it. But if you
Well,
see that, let me know. And I don't know if I can't guarantee anything. 'Cause,
launch is probably coming this week, so I might just
Fuck.
go do that on my own, and
Ah,
then the timing is so hard because it all
Yeah.
depends on weather. But
yeah. Oh, yeah. Be careful out there. It's gonna hit y'all even harder.
yeah, we
coming
might get
soon.
some snow in Texas. That's kind of strange. But
God, I
yeah,
have
that's. I think the
tip on
big
the-
plan is seeing for what's it called? Inspiration 4 project. I think that's possible. It's just a matter of somehow contacting that one guy, and if he can contact Elon directly, because he probably has a direct email that the public doesn't have.
Mhm.
So that would be interesting if we could somehow persuade him gently. Don't bombard him, but I think over time it's gonna take some time to reach out to him. Just tag him once in a while with Alita, show a rocket of Alita show. I'm gonna post something, and maybe if we plan for a hashtag, whenever you guys decide that, we'll figure that out in the future. But we've got time on that.
Did that Alita rocket win the vote for the different images
Oh,
on the side?
that one guy on Twitter that made a
Yeah.
model.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's a poll, but I saw his video.
No, there was a
I used it.
poll. Damn
Oh.
it, Angelis! I should have put that in the news.
I did not know.
There was a poll. A guy was getting votes for 5 different rocket designs with different
Oh, okay.
details on them. And I reposted the poll saying, "Come on, AlitaArmy, she's got to win this one."
I know
She
he
was
made
the-
a rocket with Alita
There's
on
a
it.
Pikachu and that doggo
Hmm.
meme, and a couple of others. I'll send you the link to the poll. It had 5 hours, but that was over 5 hours ago, so it must be finished by now. I have to look it up.
I'll look on his Twitter. I think I already know who he is.
Not meaning to jump off you too quickly, Enigma, but Nick Osborne's got to head out soon. So I just wanted to get anything from Nick that he was planning and Alita related in the next year, or any ideas he had that he might like to push forward.
Yeah, unfortunately, my time's running a little. Unfortunately, my time's running a little short, but I think what I'm trying to do is sort of along the lines of what I've started in getting the ball rolling at Comic Watch and bringing the AlitaArmy to a consistent place with our audience and putting out content that isn't just sporadic, but something that you can look forward to in an ongoing column. Working with Max Stack here and making sure that there's always something that the AlitaArmy can look forward to and some type of insight into the film, the manga, the franchise, the fandom in general. And I think it's important to create that consistency and to create that snowball effect that we saw with Looper. And I would love to be able to expand on it outside of just an original column and doing, maybe short clips and videos and bringing any type of content we can to the Comic Watch audience and expanding on beyond that to use our influence with different creators and different connections in, of course, the comics industry, but also outside of that. And I think that's sort of what we do at Comic Watch best in promoting things that we love. And I just want to be able to unleash the Comic Watch team teamed up with the AlitaArmy to see what kind of potential that has and what the future will hold. And I think that we're just getting started with that. And there's already been so many exciting things to come out of it that I'm just hyped for what's to come.
Oh, totally. I mean, while Twitter is a great platform to, get information out there virally and organically, having a news source for fandoms that has taken Alita on board, and I'm not dissing on Cinema Blend at all, but Cinema Blend is Alita's Mike Reese's baby on there, so we can suggest stuff to him and talk to him, but he decides what is and isn't happening there. And also, Cinema Blend was bought out by another group recently, so they may have limitations and strictures. Yeah, just Google Cinema Blend buyout, and you get all the information on it. But yeah, basically they're now a subsidiary of another group. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but I do know that they were bought out. So there may be some instructionals and limitations from the parent company as to what they can do with Alita. Whereas Comic Watch, as I understand, and Nick can correct me if I'm wrong, Comic Watch is is kind of like a fandom's source.
Yeah,
So
pretty
it's
much. I mean,
not often.
I'm at the role of editor in chief, and we have a team of editors who work with us, but it's really a lot more horizontal with that, and tapping into fandoms and promoting what we love. And I want to set up a working relationship with the AlitaArmy to do as much as we can in offering our connections and our reach with our audience, and in tapping into the AlitaArmy and doing something that doesn't have so much red tape, that allows a bit of creative freedom and avenues to explore, different insight and analysis into this franchise. And really, the sky's the limit with what we can do with it. And we're a platform that I think works exceptionally well with what the AlitaArmy is about, and the brand fits so well with what we do at Comic Watch that there's just really an unlimited potential with what we can do.
Exactly. That's why I thought that Comic Watch was a great opportunity, because you don't have the strictures that Cinema Blend might have based on their current situation. You're more for the fans, rather than for the company. So that was one of the things that made me want to come on board. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that being a hub of information that people go to get information about their current fandom, also introduces them to other fandoms, including now the AlitaArmy. So all those, if it was a massive Venn diagram, all those circles intermingling and crossing over with Comic Watch in the center, the AlitaArmy is now one of those circles, and we're crossing so many other circles now that we're part of Comic Watch. So I think that's a great step forward for the AlitaArmy, and I'm looking forward to leveraging that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of part of what the relationship offers. It's very mutual, and it's very based in just a love for the fandom and for the franchise. And I think that, sticking to that heart and sticking to a positive note on it, I think, the Comic Watch audience has grown pretty exceptionally. We got started as recently as 2017, and while that might seem somewhat new, we've just exploded in the industry. And for what we do, in not just in comics, but in fandom in general, I think with what the AlitaArmy brings to the table and what Comic Watch brings to the table, there's something to be said for the continued and consistent content creation that comes up in search engine optimization and social media activity and engagement, and keeping the AlitaArmy relevant and the franchise relevant, because we're a pretty Western focused organization. I mean, we've got people all over the world. We've got editors in South Africa and Hawaii, and I'm here in Texas. What we do is a pretty emphasis on a lot of Western comics and Western media, and the Alita adaptation into Western media falls right in line with that in the audience that we're tapping into. And with a consistent column instead of like the sporadic looper article, I think we're going to be able to cultivate a more dedicated and devoted audience that is going to keep coming back for more, and will just snowball into more and more fans kind of clamoring for that sequel.
Excellent. I mean, it is the shame of 2019 that the advertising was so poorly done, and the critics compounded that. So there is a huge, I still think there's a huge sink of people out there that will love Alita when they finally get around to seeing it. I think getting on Disney Plus will make a huge difference, and getting the word out through sites like your own will also grow the fandom, just because, well, to any decent person who isn't, darkness and shriveled of heart, watches this movie and goes, my God, this thing's awesome. So, I mean, Cyberpunk might not be their cup of tea, but as Alita Rave has said to me, he did not like Cyberpunk until he saw Alita.
It's kind of the same with me. I mean, I was more of a steampunk.
But he didn't even like any of that stuff. I think he went and saw Alita on a whim. I'll have to get him to recount the story at some point. But he got hooked into the storytelling. And that's what I've been saying to so many people. Oh, it's Cyberpunk. I don't like Cyberpunk. No. I have seen, like, the last time I went to see it in the cinema, there was this elderly couple, the grey nomad level, retirees sitting there. And because it was my 10th viewing, I was almost more interested in watching their reactions than I was in watching the movie, because I knew exactly what was happening in the movie by that stage. But I was watching their reactions, and they had all the same reactions that I felt myself as things happen. Like, you should have seen that, like the lady was the little old lady was grasping her husband's arm when Hugo was hanging off the side of the place. Oh no, what's going to happen to him? You know, it's the storytelling. The storytelling is ageless.
Yeah.
And that's what brought Alita Rave in, and I think that's what will bring a lot of other fans in.
And what's interesting about Alita, you know, people say cyberpunk because there's kind of a stigma on cyberpunk for being over-sexualized. And Alita is different, though. It's a different kind of cyberpunk. It's more conservative a little bit, but, you know, I mean, unless you're watching manga. I mean, just don't tell them about the manga. But, I mean, it's a type of cyberpunk that the average person can get into, for the movie at least.
Well, I won't labor the point, but Kishiro doesn't like doing fan service. He's done it because he was told to by the publishers.
Oh, I mean, like the graphic violence part that might turn off.
Yeah, well, he feels that's part of the charm.
Yeah,
I'd have to agree with him, but the sexualization
Watch
part.
my video.
The sexualization in a lot of Cyberpunk, especially the most recent Cyberpunk 2077, isn't so much because everyone's just wanting to bone everybody all of a sudden. It's not so much that. It's more of the showing that at least based on what I've seen, that it's the corporate elites that are pushing that stuff out. And if you look at a lot of magazines, especially these fashion magazines, now it's obviously not as blatant as some of these, you know, movies and cyberpunk games and shows will show, but it's all sexual in one way or another. And it's exploitation. That's kind of
the perception is there already.
Right. They're not saying that it's a good thing or that it's, you know, they're promoting it and that this is future be like, no, it's exploitation. But it's there for a reason. It's not them saying, this is how things should be. It's not like that. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
I mean, if my dad saw Cyberpunk, the game, he would be like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Like, he was just like, "This is evil." Like, he would just.
Yeah, but that's the thing you realize is that
the average boomer is not going to go for that.
Oh, of course not. They see it and they make. But it's you gotta understand why it's there. It's not.
It's hard to capture, you know, those captures.
The whole thing is being against corporations, or at least that's a big part of it. It's not the only aspect, but it's not a bug. It's a feature.
I think, like, most importantly, Alita is something that's easy to love. And I think we see that in the AlitaArmy and what Max Sack was kind of talking about, how it attracts people who just really love it and they just want to spread their love for the franchise. I think that says something to the storytelling and to what the franchise is tapped into. It's just easy to love. I mean, it's a character it's easy to get behind, and it's easy to get obsessed with too. And that's sort of what I love about it so much. I'm a bit of a lore hound myself, so the fact that there were so many manga and the OVA to dive into after that is what kept me around a lot longer. But the movie just makes it so easy to get behind, and it's something that there's a lot to explore behind something with that much potential.
Well, the manga is a big part of it, and you know, we've only had one movie, and the movie is great, but the manga is like, it's like comparing the first episode of your favorite series to the entire series. The pilot was great, but I need more, and it's there, and that's why I keep telling people to read the manga. But there's so much about the manga that can be explored, and that's why I've already started planning my next article for Comic Watch, and it will be on the manga. So we'll be introducing that as quickly as possible because it is a really important part of Alita's story. It's basically the rest of Alita's story. So.
And unfortunately, I'm going to have to take my leave from here. So I want to say thank you all so much for having me on. It's been such a pleasure to chat with everybody at the AlitaArmy, and really, this is just the beginning. I'm looking forward to coming back if the invitation still stands. I'm always ready to talk about Alita, and I think what we're going to do at Comic Watch is big, and I'm excited for the AlitaArmy to see what we have cooking and what's going to come in the future.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity, Nick. And I hope you get as much out of it as we do, because we plan to leverage it hard.
Absolutely. I'm right there. I am on board. Let's do this.
And open invitation, man. Anybody who's come on and enjoyed it, you're welcome back at any time. We have a sign-up sheet. If you have a look at the description of the stream or the video that comes after it, it has a guest sign-up sheet link. Have a look in there. If there's any topic that takes your fancy, sign up.
Awesome.
And obviously, if there's like 20 people who've signed up to a single topic, that makes it a little bit hard because we don't have enough slots. But that's usually not a problem. So just jump in there, get in advance. And of course, being that you're now exploring the manga and thinking more about the movie, if you come up with a topic of your own, being part of the AlitaArmy means that this channel is yours. And we organize it, but we're very happy if you have a topic that you'd like to bring up. If you'd like to, have a whole stream about the AlitaArmy and Comic Watch and how the two interact and what's been happening or what you're planning and all that, put it in one of the blank dates for the stream and we'll make it happen.
Ooh, that sounds really cool, actually. Maybe it's time for a Comic Watchers AlitaArmy crossover episode with our own podcast.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Something cool. All right. Yeah, I'll be, we'll be in touch for sure. And this isn't the last you've heard of me.
Yes.
I want to throw something out before he leaves. That video I was mentioning by Splashbang, I just got a date. He said that it'll be premiering tomorrow at 5. He didn't say AM or PM, but I'm guessing PM. 5 Eastern Standard Time.
All right.
So look out for that. And thanks very much for joining us, Nick. It was a pleasure. And yeah, sign up. Welcome back anytime, man. And welcome to the AlitaArmy.
Thank y'all.
I hope you enjoyed as much as we do.
Thank you. I'll see y'all next time.
All right, catch ya.
Adios.
One theme that obviously the manga had in spades and the movie sort of romanticized but still had it there and like was a part of the story is humanity in general. Like we saw a lot of that in the Last Order in part of the manga. Again, I won't go into detail because that would spoil it, but I mean, even with scenes and lines like you're the most human person I've ever met, like that was still put into the movie and for a reason, and that's like yet another aspect that has not only drawn in new fans but have kept the original ones going for 2 years running.
I think that's because you can see that's James Cameron putting stuff like that in because it's connecting with Titanic, that romance. He's definitely putting a parallel with Titanic on that, and I think people like that.
Well, everybody who's involved is going to stamp something into it. It's going to change. It's not
all that
the manga.
greenery.
It's not the manga. It's going to be a adaptation, and it always was going to be. I mean, you look at the OVA, and you would have thought that would have been closer to the manga than it was. Of course, the story of that, I won't go into the details, but Kishiro didn't like it because he wasn't really involved in what was happening there, and then he didn't have a choice to change it because it was too late.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, that's why there wasn't any more. He just basically said, "No, don't like it. You introduced a character that I didn't have. The Berserker body didn't."
The voice actor
just
was
appeared. And I mean, there was things he liked, but overall, he didn't feel that it represented the manga very well. And OVAs were being made at the time to sell more mangas, so he felt that it wasn't doing its job properly, so he axed it.
Yeah.
But there could be a whole stream just on that. Okay, we were working through what people are planning for the next year, Alita related, and what they can do to sort of motivate other people to do the same thing. And Jealous, have you got anything lined up, mate?
Not so much to try and directly influence my particular city, but whenever I go to the beach, I get what we call zinc. That's just basically like a sunscreen on a stick sort of thing, like lippies or stuff like that. And in particular, red zinc, in particular, right under the eyes all the time. Like those that funny again that you should mention cricket earlier on. Like you'll see cricket players with usually the white zinc, and they'd have it, wherever they'd get easily sunburnt. Some bowlers might have it around in near the eyes or on the cheek, sort of thing. So, like I said, and I've even found it in a chemist warehouse store that sells it. And yeah, so I'd be doing just little things like that.
Chemist Warehouse is a drugstore for the US listeners. That these are Aussieisms. So while I understand exactly what he's saying, he might be speaking double Dutch for you. Baseball, just
So yeah, just little things like that, and I'd always be wearing my AlitaArmy dog tags. I'd always be, whenever I can get the color match and color scheme, always be wearing my AlitaArmy shirts. But as for the year in general, it's again, Maxie and Creaky will know more details, but I'll be getting more heavily invested, not just involved, but invested into the hosting and even learning to manage streams as well. So, when I first joined the Army, it was through MaxTac and Dizzy. And, I saw the streams. I enjoyed it. I'd never been involved with any sort of YouTube streaming. So, like, the AlitaArmy was a lot of firsts for me. So, and yeah, I love the work that they were doing, and I found myself wanting, I want to do something for the AlitaArmy. What can I do? I can't draw, I can't do this and that. But, I thought learning how to stream would be the most easiest. And as it turned out, like they not just welcomed, but even needed, a second host, a second stream manager, and so forth. So I'll be basically learning a lot more about that and getting a lot more involved with doing that. So that way, guys like MaxTac and Star can, focus more on just being a fan, because, as it was alluded to earlier, that's what we all are.
Oh, and don't underestimate the importance of that, man, because everybody gets caught up, whether it's, internet failures, power failures, snowstorms, you name it, things happen, and having backups is hugely important. So 2 and 3 backups is very important. We've been focusing on that for the technical side of the streams, and I thank Star and Creaky hugely for the work that they put in, which is mostly unsung, except by me, because I wave the flag for these guys. I love the work that they do. And thank you so much for all the work that you put in to make the streams happen. I mean, I can stand, I can sit in my room and record myself talking, but and post it somewhere, but it's not a live stream. It's not the fandom getting together once a week, connected, feeling the love for the IP and understanding that we are a group together doing something positive for what we love and getting somewhere. And these two guys here and soon Angelus make it happen. Without them, it wouldn't happen. So thank you guys so much for that.
Yeah.
So, Star, you're the next one on my list here. Do you have anything that you're planning or looking into or considering or suggesting for the next year to do with Alita? Yeah, I get it.
Same here.
I got my hand up on that one too. If I could be employed talking about Alita, I would be in 7th.
Oh, right.
I could do it like 26 hours a day. Wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Now
I got a lot more time, so I guess I could help you guys.
For sure. So yeah, but I mean, Star is the backbone of our streaming, and he also puts stuff on the blog. He's posting all the time on Twitter. He's part of the people who run the actual at AlitaArmy account. He's the mainstay behind the AlitaArmy channel. So don't think that Star isn't doing anything. Star is the backbone. All right. So he doesn't have to come up with something new. He's already very occupied. But thank you very much, Star. If you do think of anything, just tweet it out. Let us know. It's always good to know what people are thinking, and maybe we can build on that. Cran Jam, you're up.
Oh, Ray, I don't think they can hear Star.
Oh, they couldn't hear him at all?
I was trying to say that earlier, but
Well, basically, Star said, I don't have anything new just at the moment. I'm looking to find a job. So if you've got a job for Star, if you know something that somebody that needs some work done, I don't remember which state he's in, but you know, if it's online, that'd be easy. So yeah, get Star a job. Maybe we'll hashtag that next. Oh, that's good. I just got a grunt that you probably heard that. That was the missus. With the stream started late and I've been going too long. I've got to get off soon. So Cranberry, have you got anything that you could summarize quickly for us that you're planning to do with Alita in the next year?
Too much. The plushies being the biggest thing, I guess, for the moment. Just keep creating art.
Oh yeah, the art's awesome.
Commissions.
Oh God, shut up.
I'm planning another art stream in about a month's time, maybe a little bit. It's getting close to 2 months. So yeah, we'll chat about that.
oh, there was one idea that I mentioned in I think the channel chat, but I think it kind of like got glossed over. Talking about, or maybe I don't know how this would even work, but take some investigating. But the colors and what they mean in anime versus the colors and what they mean, could mean in Alita. Like you got purple for royalty and whatnot. I don't know. I'd have to look back at it, but it's a stream topic, I think, what it was.
Well, if you want it as a stream topic, man, you know where the guest sign-up sheet is. Put it down as a topic.
True.
We're always starting new topics, so do that, please. Don't forget.
I'll go back and look for it then.
I also want to bring up Raul Gola. He's been on the stream recently. He's been on both streams, actually. He's basically our AlitaArmy India representative. Correspondent. Yes, exactly. So, Raul, good to have you on, mate. It's probably late enough now that it's not the middle of the night for you. I apologize if that's what it usually is, but that's what's the problem with having a worldwide fan of somebody who's going to be in the middle of the night. But it's great to have you on, and thank you for the happy anniversary wishes. Happy anniversary to you as well, and I hope things are going well there for you in India. Now, last but by no means least is Creaky. You're at the bottom of my list here. So what are your plans for Alita for the next year, and what are you looking forward to?
Well, Angelus and I have a stream on Friday night. We're going to continue to do that, sure. And I'm also going to continue to help Star, on those days that he can't do the stream. I can also stream the AlitaArmy Radio KAOS stream. Also, about twice a year, and this is going to be a post-COVID thing, but we have a couple of small, local Comic-Cons that we have there around Denver, Colorado. And I plan to, actually buy a whole bunch of Blu-rays and not only just buy the Blu-rays and go there, but I'm going to set up a booth and for each one, and an Alita booth, and promote the hell out of Alita there. And of course this is all contingent on COVID, not being around, and also I'm going to continue to do videos. And my brother and my brother's he's kind of an Emmy award-winning videographer, but we've talked a little bit about doing some kind of Alita fan type of short, of sorts. But that's in the very formative stages. We're not going to. We haven't come up with anything definite on that. And then last but not least, every time I go to the gym, or not every time, but damn near every time I go to the gym, I'm going to be wearing my Alita 99 or my Alita Battle Angel muscle shirt. So, I have a lot of friends at the gym, and they'll come up to me and, what is this? What's this Alita thing? So I can tell them about it that way too. So, and that's pretty much it, I think.
Two things, Creaky. Does your gym play music while you're working out?
Oh yeah, sure. They
get Motorball and Swan Song on there. because they're pretty good to pump to.
Yeah, that's right. As a matter of fact, not only motorball, but IC Church is also another good one. When I work out at my home gym, I play those. So yeah, that's a good idea. I think I will, see if I can get them. They usually, get on like Spotify or something like that and play, whatever music they got there. But I can see what I can do about that. See if they
see if you can swing those tracks into their playlist.
Yeah, exactly.
Get them happening when you're not there. That's the trick.
Yeah. That's right. Because right now I don't really go to that my gym there in Denver because of COVID. So anyway, I get my second shot here in about 3 weeks. So I'll be good to go after that. That's pretty much it, Maxie.
Oh no, that's plenty, man. You keep thinking about it. You're a pretty creative guy, so I'm sure you'll come up with more stuff as the year progresses. But this is all just to get the creative juices flowing. Yeah. We don't expect that everybody in the Army is going to have a new and original idea. Leverage the ideas that we're coming up with today and telling you about locally. It's not stealing. It's all just doing whatever you can, wherever you are at the time to promote Alita and getting it somewhere.
You bet. Maybe Enigma and I can work on something together too. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I can try to jump on probably next week.
I mean, leveraging other people in the fandom and getting people with skills that you don't have in to help you make something a reality is well worthwhile. Small groups of different parts of the fandom working together can make some fantastic stuff. If you don't have the skills, get somebody else in the fandom to help you learn them.
Oh, absolutely.
And get involved.
Just one last thing. I want to aggravate Cran too on another commission. So anyway.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, I'm lining up for that too. Oh, dear. Okay, I'm going to share my screen unless there's anybody who's got anything else that they've thought of in the meantime I want to add to their list of what I'm planning to do. We're going to have to wrap up soon because we are getting really long in the tooth on this episode.
Nice.
I think is fine, but my wife's getting grumpy and it's Valentine's Day, so
no more comments about being long in the tooth too. Okay.
Sorry, dude. Okay, so I'm just going to present quickly. It's that one. Okay, so as usual, Star has done the deed and put up the question. This week's question was, did you ever think you'd still be an avid Alita movie fan 2 years later? Answers below. So I'm just scrolling through here. We've got Spamderman was going to wait patiently for the sequels to come out, didn't plan on campaigning for the sequels, but here we are 2 years later still going at it. It hurts to think that if the studio didn't drag its feet, we would be watching the sequels next year. Well, I mean, yes and no. Everybody would love to have what they want when they want it, but I think that Alita 2 will get here when it needs to get here. Have patience, have perseverance, keep doing what you're doing. We need to grow the fan base so that when the sequel comes out, it's got the numbers to push it over that 100 million in the US and be assured of the last in the trilogy. All right. So don't think that this time is wasted. This is the time we grow the fandom and we get the numbers so that we don't have another sub 1 million, 100 million gross in the US. Super important. So tell your friends, get them to watch it, get them excited, get them to want a sequel. And when the sequel comes out, drag them all down to the cinema. Job done. Yep. All righty. Von Mauve. Yes, I just knew that there was going to be a chance of a sequel to this masterpiece. The fans would have to fight long and hard for it. We will. Very nice. I should be liking all of these. What's my problem? There we go. Silent Winter 3D. I knew before the credits rolled on my first viewing that I'd be a lifelong fan of Alita. It's just one of those rare movies where everything comes together. Oh, I'm right there with you, dude. So there you go. And yes, we all love it. Jester, walking out of the theater after watching it on February 14, 2019, I knew I would be an Alita fan forever. Yep. Green Ock 2021, of course, one of the few movies of today doing anything right. And Dan Ward says, yes, I will be a fan forever. It's beautiful to see non-stop positivity in these replies. considering what everybody in the world is going through and the lack of a sequel and the lack of any information over 2 years, the fact that there's so much non-stop positivity means that the AlitaArmy is working, it's doing its job, and it's having the effect that we need. So well done to all of you. Every single person who can hear my voice, every single person who reads the tweets, who does anything towards the AlitaArmy, thank you. We appreciate it. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. We are getting our sequel. It's just a matter of when. And I think Alita will get here when she needs to. Like the wizards in Lord of the Rings. Okay.
We just need to find those egos to speed up the process.
Yeah, that help.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, we have one comment from the AlitaArmy org post on the second Alita anniversary. Somebody named Gas. It personifies the story of a little guy standing up to the mighty, looking to defend those that cannot defend themselves. My favorite line in the movie being, "I do not stand by in the presence of evil." That is
David Goliath.
that is a very important line, and it's one that doesn't actually come up until the Motorball arc in the original manga, and it's not in the Kodeshia re-release. There's a completely different line in there, which freaked me out when I first read it. So the differences between the two manga translations is a whole nother topic for another stream in itself. So yeah, but I do not stand by in the presence of evil. You guys feel that that's quintessential to Alita?
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't have to mean that she's a superhero. It just, just
She stands up.
fight for herself and knowing what's good and evil, and she struggles with that.
Yeah, well, we all struggle, and that's why we find her relatable. Alrighty, so getting towards the end, guys. Sorry, not sorry we dragged it on so long. Next week's question. Now, sorry, Star? Didn't have a link, man. No, I didn't get a Facebook or Instagram link in the show notes, so I couldn't go there. I figured nothing happened. Well, I apologize if anybody made the effort on those two platforms, but we'll look into that later. So next week's question, well, first of all, next week's topic, okay, I need to take a step back. What we're planning to do this year, and this was suggested by Star, and I think it's a great idea, is I presume that at least some of you know what a Venn diagram is. It's one of those drawings where you have two circles of topics and they cross over at a certain path and it creates a third sort of intermingled topic. You see them a lot in memes, but they're actually a scientific thing looking at interactions between different groups of information. And what we're looking at this year is to compare and contrast Alita, the fandom, and the IP with other IPs. So we're sort of branching out. We've sort of crushed it when it comes to the Alita topic on its own, and we're now branching out into other fandoms and other IPs and other topics and bringing them back and looking at them with the lens of the Alita IP and the AlitaArmy. So the first one, and this one's mine, I threw this up, so I'll be leading it out, is Alita Riddick from Pitch Black and John Carter of Mars. More in common than you might think. Now, when I proposed this, I had a certain amount of information from a podcast, which I highly recommend, called Science Fiction Remnants. It's a couple of guys out of it's East Coast USA. It's Robert and Giancarlo, and they will be coming on to join us. They're fans of Alita now, so they've joined the AlitaArmy, and they will be coming on to talk about these three IPs and how they relate to each other, both in the storytelling, the IP itself, the themes, and also the productions. So there's some very interesting, and I was telling Angelus about this last night, mind-blowing factoids that I dug up just last night about links between Alita and John Carter of Mars. So, yeah, I'll be bringing all that to the fore, and hopefully you will
Is
find it
John
very
Carter Disney?
John Carter is Disney, yes.
Oh, okay. Wow, forgot about that.
According to the wiki, it's the most expensive movie production at the time. In 2012, it was the most expensive movie ever made.
I have to see that again.
Yeah, do watch it. I highly recommend that if you want to get the most out of this this particular subject next week, if you're planning to come along and listen in. Obviously, you've watched Alita, don't need to watch that again, but do if you like. I'm happy that you do. Watch Pitch Black. It might not be for everybody, but if you've read the manga, Pitch Black should be piss easy for you. And John Carter, it's just called John Carter, but it's actually John Carter of Mars. It's called that right after the very end. Like the very end credit is actually JCM. He becomes John Carter of Mars in the last 5 minutes. But I call it John Carter of Mars because it's a link between Alita and John Carter in that it happens on Mars. So there you go. Also a very interesting
or
movie.
Barsoom.
Yes.
Barsoom.
So yeah, John Carter is not as dark as Riddick or Alita. It's a little bit more adventurous, a little bit more Star Wars-ish, and it was actually aimed in that direction. Lots of other details. Won't spoil them. We'll cover them next week. But watch those 3 movies. Read up on wikis and stuff if you feel like it. No pressure. I'll bring a lot of that into the discussion. But Robert and Giancarlo will be on with us. They are greatly versed in this information because they've done podcasts of them. Recommend that if you're interested in sci-fi at all, and these 3 movies in particular, listen to the podcast that they did on these movies. Forgive them for their Alita stuff. They should have Googled a bit more. They got a few things wrong. I am actually planning to go back onto their podcast and talk about the OVA and redress some of those errors. We'll get there in the end. We'll straighten them out. But it'll be great to have them on next week. Look forward to that. But the question for this week will be, did you like Pitch Black, as in the character of Riddick, and or John Carter of Mars? And can you spot any similarities in the main characters and their movie fortunes? So it's a bit of a complicated question, but basically that is what we will be covering next week. Hopefully it will be the first of many sort of inter-IP discussions that we have. You had something there, Enigma?
Oh, no. Just it sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, we're just trying to, compare and contrast. Compare and
Yeah, I
contrast
just
is
never
always
thought about
fun.
John Carter and comparing to Alita. I'll check that out.
You will be surprised. Watch
I'll
John
have to
Carter.
rewatch it
I
somehow.
just watched John Carter last night. What did you think? Just as a quick preamble there, Angelus, did you see some similarities?
Yes. There's definitely some similarities. I can assure you that much, 100%.
Yeah.
Or 99 plus 1. But
Right.
even just to allude to some of the similarities, let's just say, no, I'm not going to even spoil it. Go watch
don't
it.
spoil it. But I will give you one interesting factoid that ties those 2 IPs together, and that is that in the latest edition of Mars Chronicles, a lot of you won't have read it, but it's the ongoing manga by Kishiro with the leader story in it. Young Yoko and Erika have infiltrated a crashed starship that's become a city, and it is called the Deja Thoris, who is the princess of Mars from John Carter. So there you go.
Interesting.
Kishiro typed them together. It
I'll
wasn't
check
me.
it out.
So there you go. And there's lots and lots of other little factoids that are really cool. So join us for that one. They are all great movies, and we're going to have a good chat about that next week. So if you want to come on the live stream and have a chat about these things, or you want to suggest a live stream topic of your own, hopefully I've given you some ideas, and we've all been throwing ideas around like cream pies at a Three Stooges event today. But if you've got any ideas for a topic, please get onto that guest sign-up sheet. You can write a topic in a date that you would be available and put your name down under it. Or if you don't have a date and you've just got an idea for a topic, write it in the bottom somewhere. Just say, I've got this idea for a topic. I haven't really thought about it, but here it is. We'll try and make it happen for you. And if you've got something to say about it, do come along, do sign up, do be part of this. Everybody who comes on has a great time. Even if they don't have a lot to say, they still say they enjoyed it. And it's all about being involved, doing, and getting confident. Creaky and Jealous have a much more relaxed live stream on the day before this one, the Alita live stream, where you can just, they throw the link to join in the text chat. You can just jump straight on there without having to think about it and get all stressed, and just talk to them. It's just like talking on the phone. It's not hard at all. And you have a great time. And once you get, it's a bit of an addiction, I must admit. Once you get comfortable with it, you have so much fun. So do join us. We'd love to have you on here. The AlitaArmy channel is your channel. You're part of the AlitaArmy. It's yours. Please come on. Please be respectful, but please talk to us about Alita. We'd love it. So I want to thank our guests this week for coming on. We had Johnny, we had Nick Osborne, and Enigma Seeker, who's still here. I can't get enough of us. Thanks for hanging around, Enigma. I realize
thank
it's for evening.
I got time now, so.
Excellent. And do come on again. It's always great to have you on.
All right.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us. You are what makes the Alita fandom special. I would not spend all this time doing this if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you for being who you are, loving Alita, and keep doing it. And we are getting our sequel. It's just a matter of time. And as we like to finish up at the end of our streams, call to action, 3, 2, 1. Bye.
those Blu-rays, baby.
Thanks for joining us. See you next week. Bye for now.
You know, back when I was in the academy, we would follow every toast with a song. It's better to have love. twist? Hmm.